Best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. It's interesting, though. We've only got 4 nominations for this category.
Jeff Keighley was drunk when he did this.
Why did they insist on making fighting a category every year? So they had to pull Sifu.
Sifu's not a fighting game. Get that garbage out of here.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys. How you doing?
I'm doing just swell.
Oh,
Hey, Hunter, what's on your shirt, by the way?
It's a bunch of Zelda logos, and it says Legends are born in November.
That's cool.
Epic.
I also feel like your camera position is different. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a new
because
camera.
I got the new one, so I put it back on top of my camera, or on top of my computer.
Yeah, remember last week's episode when he ordered a camera on the episode?
Yeah, I didn't remember you buying it on the episode. I remember you buying it, but I don't
I
remember.
bought
on
it
the
like
episode.
right after.
It was right after. But I thought you looked different, new camera angle, and you look a lot better, Hunter. You look a lot better. It's nice. I love the thing with Hunter. What you guys don't understand is me and Kyle. We kind of we've been slowly, gradually upgrading our stuff as the podcast has gone on to try and make the podcast quality better. Hunter's motto in life has always been, I ain't fucking changing shit until it either breaks or someone buys it me. So his mic was contributed by his brother, I believe, which was a very nice gesture. And then his webcam finally booked, so we've now got a new webcam. So, it's like all good things eventually happen.
Yeah.
Even the mic stand was given to you too, right?
I took it from some of my dad's old stuff, yeah.
So yeah, Hunt, you definitely have the kind of I don't know, kind of like family garage sale kind of vibe where you're kind of I grab what I need and get it where I can.
Yeah.
But it's nice when you do make these upgrades every year. Maybe next year, who knows what'll happen? Who knows? But
New chair.
Yeah.
I got this chair last year.
To be fair, I need a new chair. I feel like chairs are one of those things where they
Chairs
cost
are so hard, dude.
so much money. I don't know if you ever looked at a good chair. They're like $400, $500, and I'm like, I don't want to pay that much to sit down. And then I end up getting like this chair, which is like $50, like $50 to $100, and you're like, this $50 to $100 chair, this will do. And then you have it, and you're like, this is shit. And then it's like, but I've just bought it, so I'm gonna sit in it for at least a good year or so.
This one took me so much time to assemble too.
They're such a hassle, and they cost so much money. And it's like, Christmas is coming up and stuff like that. So I've already not wasted, I should say wasted. Hi, parents, if you're watching. I have spent a lot of money recently on Christmas stuff. So it's like, I'm already down on that. And it's like, stuff like chairs, they're like March, April things to think about when the money spending is low. But also, I know that this is like the prime of my life. And it's like, if I fuck my back in now, then it's going to be fucked for eternity. So I'm like, maybe I should invest in a better chair. But that's money, and we don't have time for that. Look at us. We're too busy talking about Jeff Keighley's fucking Game Awards. We don't have time to invest.
Begrudgingly.
But hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. If you're new here, welcome to the HGO podcast. Every Monday, we come to you and talk about everything we love in the world of gaming. This week, we're doing our Game Awards predictions episode a week early because some blasted video game developer decided to release a game the next week. So we got to talk about Callisto Protocol. So this week,
I shake my fist at you, Glenn Schofield.
Yeah, Glenn Schofield and fucking Callisto Protocol. Also, that review embargo is not until the release date, so that game is either really good or really terrible. We'll find out, I guess, next week.
Nah, they're gonna nail it.
Fingers crossed. So we've got that next week. So this week we're going to do our predictions for the Game Awards. We're talking everything. We're talking our big boy stakes. What's going to win every category. We're going to go through all of them. And then we're also going to talk about some predictions. Not the esports, because
esports aren't real.
Yeah. And also, I'm sorry, Jeff, I know you love to appeal to the widest margin. You are literally one of those big fishing vessels in the seas that's like got that big fucking net that just catches every bastard and you just kill everything hoping that some of the produce is good enough to sell, right? That's what Jeff Keighley does. I don't think esports people give a shit about the Game Awards, because I barely do, and I'm forced to watch it for the podcast. So it's like, I don't think that people that love watching League of Legends esports are going, man, I better tune into the Game Awards so that I can see who won best esports org. I just don't see it. But we're going to talk about all of the, except for esports, we're going to talk about all of the nominations and winners' predictions that we're going to talk about. And then afterwards, we will give what we like to classically do, which is just our let's predict the announcements. Now, we've had 2 years of predicting announcements now, Hunter. Well, Kyle, this is your second time joining us, but this is our third time for me and Hunter doing this kind of episode. They're weird because the first year I felt there was actually a lot of stuff that was announced at the Game Awards. I was like, okay, there's actually a bit of chunk of stuff. Last year, there was like, I was looking at actual new announcements for the Game Awards last year. That was like fuck all. It was a very weak year for Game Awards announcements last year. We got like Persona 4
It was
Arena
a weak
Ultimax.
Game Awards anyways.
It was a weak Game Awards last year. But...
What was it? Off the top of my head, one of the most interesting things, I think that was the first time in the pre-show we saw Have a Nice Death, which looked cool. And then, like, I think that's where Slitterhead got shown, which is that horror game from the guy who directed the first Silent Hill game. And those are like the only two interesting things I can recall.
Are you ready for this? I can tell you the exact ones. These were stuff that had not been announced yet. So everything else had been announced, or it was stuff like Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which was getting a new release. So new actual games. It was Alan Wake 2, Among Us VR. Yeah. Ark Raiders, Dune Spice Wars, The Expanse of Telltale series. That's how fucking quality these announcements were. Was a Telltale game on a fucking TV show. Have a Nice Death, you were right. A game called Nightingale Rumbleverse was announced at the Game Awards. I don't even remember that. Slitterhead, you were right. Sonic Frontiers had its actual announcement, not a teaser, at the Game Awards. Star Trek Resurgence, Star Wars Eclipse, from everybody's favorite fucking, I'm not going to say that because but you know, everybody's favorite Scumbag David Cage, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the video game, Thirsty Suitors, which I think I can remember. That's that indie game, if I remember correctly.
It's the indie game.
Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, and Wonder Woman was announced. I forgot that Wonder Woman was announced by Monolith. I forgot that was a video game.
I forgot that. I feel like it's been forever that's been in the percolating the ether.
And I feel like it will remain because, you know, I'm also not excited because, you know, we saw how Gotham Knights turned out.
Yeah.
For those of you who are unaware about Rocksteady, the co-creators of Rocksteady, Seth Green and whoever the other guy was, not Seth Green. Sefton Hill. That's his name. Seth Green's the comedian. Sefton Hill.
Seth Green's the robot chicken guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I was like, Seth Green's the comedian, but it's like Sefton Hill. That's his name. But Sefton Hill left Rocksteady, and so did the other co-creator before the game came out. So that's a bit of a cause of concern. So I'm like, I feel like Rocksteady might be dead soon. I don't know why. I just have kind of impending doom kind of feeling for that. But I'm not looking forward to it. Anyway, regardless, enough of that. We'll talk about all the announcements, whether we think it's going to be a better year than last year. I fucking hope so.
It can't be worse.
So there's a lot to talk about. But anyway, we've waffled on long enough. Let's get into it. Game Awards nomination predictions on winners. Here we go. Winner predictions, guys. For those of you who want to keep on track at home, we're basically going to do all the categories in order except for Game of the Year. We'll do that last. Why? Because we need that sweet, sweet viewer retention, everybody. So make sure you pay along. keep track. So we're going to start with Best Game Direction, and we'll just keep going throughout all of them. Kyle, do you want to do the honors of saying what's nominated for what, and then we can discuss from there?
Yeah, I've got it open up right here.
You might want to read also the description of what best, because some of these aren't the best kind of names for describing what they believe.
But dude, I love Best Action and Best Action Adventure.
Yeah, please just read
it's my favorite.
Read the descriptions for the love of anybody listening.
All right, Best Game Direction awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game design or game direction and design.
You see, that's made it so much clearer.
Absolutely, I understand.
Best game direction
valid.
awarded for having the best game direction. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right, and we got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray.
See, it's interesting this year because I've kept up with a lot of games that came out this year. I feel like I've done pretty well. So it's like I've played all of these except for Immortality, which I've heard good things about.
Yeah.
Kyle, you've played Stray.
I did play Cat Game.
What do you think? How was the game direction of Stray, Kyle, in your opinion?
It was the game was short. I appreciated that direction.
I think it was solid for what it was. I feel like Stray, as much as I love the visual design of Stray and I love the world that Stray created, but I think from a game perspective, I think this game has kind of been bigged up a bit more than I believe it should, if that makes sense. Like in my opinion, I actually bought Neon White Hunter. I did buy Neon White and I played it for like 5 minutes just to get a quick kind of go of it.
Man, it's like 5 levels.
Yeah, because I know I'm gonna love Neon White because it's up my alley. It's like a parkour kind of shooter kind of like thing, which I knew I'd love. It's like super hot, but fun. So I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. Super hot fans are gonna be really annoyed at that statement. I'm sorry. It's just that game's too slow for me. It's just like, I know it's slow-mo and cool, but it's just too slow. Anyway, I feel like Stray is just being a bit big up to the point where I'm like, after playing all of Stray and playing 5 minutes of Neon White, I feel like the game direction in Neon White is a lot better than Stray, just from a game play perspective. But that's just me.
Just the way they create just the way they lay out the levels and make it super replayable. But yeah.
Right. Here's my thing, right? Is I feel like we're going to be saying a lot of Elden Ring this year.
We're going to be saying that one a lot.
But I think that this one, I don't want to say it's a lock. I would put my lock on God of War winning this one. If it wins any awards, I think best game direction is what's going to win it. Personally.
Yeah, that
I also had God of War down for this.
Are we writing down to see who's right? I forgot we do that, don't we?
Oh man.
I did that just so I could know what I'm. Have you got
a list on your end, Kyle? Could you do us a favor and just like just put like
pencil in our names with our own predictions?
Yeah, just because I forgot to make a spreadsheet this year. I'm so sorry. I forgot that we did that last year.
So we're all God of War. Are we
all agreeing on God of War probably winning this one?
I don't know, because the other game won the last. When it showed up, won that one, and I could see them being like, oh, yeah, did the same thing, give it to it again. But on the other hand, I don't know. People seem to think that making a Dark Souls game open world is revolutionary, so it's a toss up.
I think the thing with this is, I think Elden Ring's going to win a lot of stuff. Some deserve, some less so, in my opinion. My opinions of Elden Ring have only grown more positive since I played it, which is fun because Horizon, a game that I loved when it came out, my opinions on Horizon have kind of waned since that game came out. But I think the thing with God of War is when I look at something which is like best game direction, I like to think of it as like the overall package. And the thing with Elden Ring is it's great, but it's got its quirks. It doesn't run particularly well. It's like, it's what you make of it. It's a gamey game where everything is in the combat and the world and the actual physics. Whereas God of War Ragnarok is one of the most solid experiences I've ever had in games, where the music and the cutscenes.
It does the camera thing a second time, man.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like in this one, it was a bit more gimmicky because I knew that they were going to do it. So some of the transitions, I'm like, yeah, I can see why you're going for it. But it still works and it still feels great. And I just feel like it's just a solid, from start to finish, a solid experience. Like, so well made and crafted that it should at least get this one, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and God of War for me as well.
I convinced him. Let's go. I can't wait for us to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. Ragnarok, sweet boys, let's go.
It's not gonna happen, but we got to start somewhere. What's up next, Kyle?
Next up is Best Narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game.
Okay.
Plague Tale, Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality.
Again, we haven't played on Immortality, but I've heard it's great.
I'd never even heard of Immortality until the Game Awards.
Here's my thing, right? Looking at these. I love Horizon Forbidden West. It was a great game.
Yeah.
But narratively, it suffers a bit too much from sequelitis, I feel, and it's like
and teeing up third game-itis.
Yeah. I think the main problem with that game is there's some interesting stuff, but it definitely feels like it's a middle chapter and it's just leading up to something bigger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Narratively, nothing like. There are moments in God of War, like there's a moment within the first hour of God of War where they nearly had me in tears, and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck is happening. Like, incredible writing. Whereas Horizon, I never really felt like that. Even when characters died, I was just like, kind of like, oh, that's like the most I felt was, at the start of this game, I thought you were annoying as fuck, and now I'm like, oh, okay, you've died.
It's like I didn't dislike you that much.
I don't dislike you anymore, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like Horizon was really good at creating its big moments, but I wouldn't say that its story was quite at the not on God of War's level. I think even Plague Tale, I haven't played all of it yet, but that game's narrative is super good so far. I'm glad that it's got some love this year for its award nominations.
How are you feeling on Plague Tale compared to Ragnarok? Because I haven't played Requiem yet.
You see, it's hard to... God of War's, like, once I get to the end of this, I could see a world where Plague Tale manages to do something where I'm going, oh man, I like that story even more. But also that's like that's a pretty tall hurdle, and if they don't do that, it's like still a really good story. It's been really solid so far. I really like it. I think what they've follow up to, I don't know, when I finished the first Plague Tale, I wasn't even really thinking about a sequel. I was like, they just kind of mosey off into whatever there. And they've been managing to follow this up pretty nicely. But I think, God of War would probably be the one I like more still.
You see, it's interesting to me because it's like, my vote would go towards God of War.
Yeah.
My only problem with God of War is I feel like they spend all this time sitting in this... You spend all the time in God of War sitting in this world, living with these characters, going through this journey, this narrative, which is so incredibly good. And then they kind of do the Marvel thing where it all kind of wraps up in like a really short space of time. And I'm like, you've given me so much time to digest and build this world, and then you're kind of pulling me out of it at a breakneck pace because it's like, it's time to fucking go. And I'm kind of like, I could have used another hour or so at the end just to kind of sit with it. And it's like, I still think it's fantastic. I think the story in God of War Ragnarok's far stronger than the original, personally.
Yeah.
It's just whether...
It's got several moments to it where I'm going to be thinking about forever, as opposed to the first game where I'm going to be, still mostly the thing. I think about the one part in the middle a lot, and, occasionally other things if my mind is wandering.
I think the thing is, again, which is why I don't like the term best narrative, to be honest, because narrative can mean many things. You basically got Elden Ring, which is, in terms of like an actual story, is
I like how
nothing,
offended they made this one made people.
But in terms of a world building and like narrative around it and all the lore and all of that stuff, I feel like you can't get any richer than a FromSoft game because everything is so well crafted. And you're walking around going, who the fuck's this big tree thing? But then when you actually get into the lore and all that stuff, you can see how everything's tied and everything's so finely crafted into a story. It's just the game doesn't fucking tell you. And FromSoft fans love that. They love reading the item descriptions and figuring it all out by themselves and speculating it on YouTube. But as someone who just wants to know what the fuck's going on without having to read every fucking item's description, it kind of pisses me off a lot of the time, where I'm just like, tell me what's happening. Come on.
This is the other thing is, I can't really speak to Elden Ring because I only played it for a little bit, but I figured out the story of Bloodborne, mostly on my own, and a lot of it happened before you get there. Is like the most interesting stuff happens before the game starts, and I don't know. That's one of those things where it's like
mess, yeah.
It's a lot more environmental storytelling than
it's one of those things where I'm like, if
narrative
this was
storytelling.
I'd love for a game to use a similar kind of setup as Bloodborne, and then like, I don't know, kind of like best of both worlds between the FromSoft approach and then maybe PlayStation's cinematically driven narrative approach, where it'd be like have just you be more involved in some of the stuff that happens.
And I see there's this kind of like an allure to both of them, right? And it's like I can 100%. If Elden Ring wins this category, I will not be pissed off like some people will be, because I understand how much time and effort goes into the world building and all of that kind of craftsmanship of a FromSoft game. Because like I say, there's no richer world building and storytelling in that regard than FromSoft video games. There just isn't. But at the same time, in terms of a narrative of your character, you're a tarnished. You're searching for the Elden Ring to become Elden Lord. Is basically the story of Elden Ring. So it's like, it's interesting. I would put it on God of War. I think God of War might win this one again as well.
Yeah, I think God of War. Again, it's between God of War and Elden Ring. Who would have guessed? But
the classic.
I think God of War with game direction. I think this is the other one that God of War might have.
Don't worry, Elden Ring fans. We will be very much going back to going all in on Elden Ring later on in the episode, I'm sure. But no, lock us all in for God of War on that one, I guess. Then, Kyle, unless you think Elden Ring, unless you want to spice it up.
I think. Well, I mean, my vote goes to Xenoblade 3, but that's not a choice, so I give it to God of War. Anyways, best art direction.
Ooh, I love art.
Pour one out for Sifu, by the way, because that game looked really good.
HD 2D games.
I feel like pour one out for a load of games here.
Pour one out for so many things.
I feel like Xenoblade, especially after seeing Scarlet and Violet, and I know I hate that Pokemon has just become free promotion for Xenoblade, but it's like, look at how good that is for a Switch game. Like every time I'm like, legit. Imagine if Monolith was owned by someone that didn't have the worst hardware in the business, man. Imagine a Monolith game on PC or on PS5 or Xbox Series X, man. That shit would be like gorgeous. But no, unfortunately not. We have to wait for Nintendo to catch up in 20 years. But anyway, what is art direction is for astounding creative or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. And the nominees are... Go on, Kyle.
Elden Ring. God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West,
Shocker,
Scorn, and Stray.
Okay.
I don't even
shout out to Scorn for getting nominated there, because it's
deserved for how fucking weird it is.
Dude, it's that game looks so absurdly wet and organic. It's cool, but
I hate that.
I don't know anything about Scorn, but I hate that you described it as wet.
It looks like an H.R. Geiger kind of painting come to life, man.
The thing is, though, it's like I do know Scorn. Yeah, I do know Scorn, and wet is a very apt term for it. And I'm like, oh god, no, I don't like that. The only way you could have made it worse is if you used the word moist instead. That would have been the only thing that made that worse.
Very damp.
Every step you take, there's squelching sounds.
Yeah. I also think that I will allow Stray for nomination on this one, because Stray is a very beautiful game. I feel like one of the things it did nail was its kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of neon city, kind of surrounded by forest visual style. I love it. I love the visual
also
style.
As far as like, I guess you have to account for the fact that animation goes into this. The cat was very well animated, you know?
I feel like all of these are great. God of War is great, but the thing I will say about God of War is God of War, even though it's more experimental than the original, it is still more God of War, which for better or worse.
Which you could say the same thing about Horizon.
There's more of that, but I think in terms of between God of War and Horizon, I'd give this probably surprisingly to Horizon, because I think that game is visually stunning. I think that, like I say, it's incredible how amazing that game looks, and God of War also looks fantastic, but I think it's just the vibrance.
God of War also looks really good in some there are definitely some areas in the late game where I was like, oh, that looks real good. or one of the characters.
Yeah, I know which one you're thinking.
Yeah,
I know which
or
exactly
one of the
you're
characters
thinking
with
about.
one of their moves with the like splashes of colors was really cool, man.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, that looks real good too. But I think that Elden Ring will probably get
win
this
one.
one
Elden
because
it's 100% gonna win.
Yeah, it's the From Software creature design and world stuff, except it also looks, pretty good
great
too.
Stuff in here.
It doesn't look like it's an entire generation behind.
I don't feel like it should win. I feel like all of the other games have better world, like art direction in terms of their worlds. I think it's just, well, actually no, I will say the underground in Elden Ring is fucking gorgeous. The idea of having this world underneath the world where it's caves, but they've got like bluey starlit kind of skies above it, and it's like, it's absolutely gorgeous. That bit looks amazing. And so do like certain areas, and the bosses always look fab in FromSoft games, because of course they do.
Yeah.
But the actual world itself, other than the glowing fucking tree in the center of it, which is a great little kind of icon, is a bit bland. It just looks like a fucking medieval fantasy kind of world.
Yeah.
Whereas,
yeah, but the game got the spider hands, man.
which is a similar thing with God of War, is how there's certain areas in God of War which I think are absolutely stunning, but a lot of it is just kind of ice biome or forest or stuff that we've seen before. So I feel like Elden Ring's gonna win. I probably would have given it to I haven't played Scorn, so I probably would have given it to Stray or Horizon, but I think Elden Ring should probably win.
Yeah.
I put down Stray.
That's good. I feel like if any game is, if Stray's going to win any category, I think it will be either this one or we'll get to indie game. But I feel like this is one where I'm like more of, how sometimes you look at them and you're like, that one was obviously the fifth nom. This one, I feel like it was more deserved than in other categories, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I feel like people probably Scorn, even though it's very visually distinct, was probably the fifth nom here.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, what else can we say? Let's move on. Best score of music is next.
Oh, what a category!
Do you want to say? Yeah, fucking hell. Like, okay.
For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack, Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles
shout out to
3.
them for getting that.
I also want to say, I think that Jeff Keighley solely saw how many people, including us, took the piss out of this fucking category last year for how abysmal it was with having Guardians of the Galaxy in there last year. So I'm glad that
I'm still upset about Strive getting snuffed.
There's actual games that have fantastic soundtracks here, to the point where, like, I haven't heard Plague Tale's soundtrack particularly.
Oh, it's real good, man.
I feel like you could make an argument for every single game in this category to win. I don't think that you can be upset at all with any of these games win, because their soundtracks are phenomenal. Like, all of them.
I only played the demo of that Metal game, and it I'm still like humming the words that pop in when you get to the high level on it to myself every now and then.
It's
like, so I imagine the rest of the game's just as good. I think that actually has a pretty solid chance of winning, just because the way that this category goes typically is the one that's the most expensive, and this adds like actual people from the musical industry.
It's such a hard category because, you've got Elden Ring and God of War that have these big orchestral roaring soundtracks, which are so good. Both of them are so phenomenal. Like, them two have always, like, the funny thing about God of War and Elden Ring is how different they are to video games score-wise. They're actually relatively similar in how they're crafted, but they're both fantastic. Like, the boss themes in Elden Ring are triumphant and incredible. And God of War Ragnarok has such like poignant moments of like, there are moments where it just explodes everywhere and you're like, oh my god, how do they do this? And then just the intimate moments are so fucking good. And then obviously Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a fantastic soundtrack to boot. That gets my vote, because Xenoblade is not going to win any category at the Game Awards, but you got to support your boy, you got to support your boy. I love an underdog story. So that's why my heart goes, because the flutes in that game are like fucking perfection. I cannot wait for the medley. I'll be staying up till 3 a.m. just for that medley at the end, to be honest. I don't know, Kyle, what do you have to say?
I gave my vote to Xenoblade 3.
Of course you did.
Yasunori Mitsuda deserves it.
He does. I feel that's the thing.
He's a great composer, great industry veteran.
That's the thing is about this is all of these so good, so good. Last year we were taking the piss out of half of them and going, right, this better win. This year I'm like, man, I know that it's probably going to be Elden Ring that wins this category. I'm going to put my vote down to Elden Ring.
Yeah, my vote goes. Yeah, but, Elden Ring probably wins. Like, I went to a concert earlier this year where the band played the Elden Ring theme before they walked onto the stage. Like, they had it over the PA system. I'm like, well, definitely. So, yeah, Elden Ring probably is going to win.
But like I say, I wouldn't be mad if any of these won, to be honest.
No, this is like the polar opposite. I hope that the other prediction you gotta always make with this category is, does it actually get the respect it deserves? Because he never gives this one attention.
He'll probably just announce
it's usually just a footnote.
He'll probably announce it as Crash is dabbing on the fucking stage. He'll be like, hang on, Crash, a second. Best music and score goes to Elden Ring. And he's like, okay, now what shitty Wumpa League have you brought with you? That's probably what will happen. But, like I say, it's a fantastic category. The other thing is, will people split their votes? That's the thing, because Xenoblade fans are rabid. They will all make 6 accounts to vote for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 here, which will still be only 34 votes, but, those will be a good 34 votes. But Elden Ring and God of War, I feel like people are going to fight over them and maybe even split the vote. I feel like...
I don't know.
I feel like Elden Ring's a lock, but also I feel like there is potential for this one to go other ways, whereas I feel like other ones are locks for Elden Ring. I feel like this one.
Yeah, you mentioned Xenoblade fans being rabid, but also like From Software fans are psychos.
They are. Elden Ring was the most anticipated game for like 6 years in a row. Yeah, true. Anyway, let's move on to the next category before we run out. Go on, what's next, Carl?
Best audio design.
Mm-hmm.
Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design, we've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2,
They're really going
the
for that
Elden
shit
Ring,
again.
the God of War Ragnarok, the Gran Turismo 7, and the Horizon Forbidden West.
Well, you see, last time that Call of Duty was in the Game Awards for this, it's because they specifically, during trailers and during press, they specifically mentioned their audio. I don't think they're getting away with that shit again. I feel like they got it last time.
They couldn't bring people like in person to do the whole like, oh, our audio sounds like bullets are actually firing into concrete or whatever this time. So I don't know. I think maybe Gran Turismo gets this one just because
I think you're going for Gran Turismo. I know what I'm going for. I know Elden Ring's a lock on this one, and you can fucking hold me to it. Elden Ring's a lock.
I haven't played Gran Turismo myself, but listening to my brother describe,
I haven't played any of these.
Listening to my brother describe the game to me, talking about the way the car sounded, like even sometimes he'd listen to the podcast while he was playing Gran Turismo, doing their silly hour-long races, and it sounded like it sounded like we were sitting in the back having a conversation in his car.
So it was like, well, to me, here's the thing, right? Is I've played all of these bar Gran Turismo in one way, shape, or form. I booted up Warzone 2 very quickly just to see if it was Warzone 2. Spoiler, it's more Warzone. Well done. I played 2 minutes of it and went, this is shit, like Warzone 1. Goodbye. It's the same fucking game sound. There's nothing special about Call of Duty game sound. There never has been. It was just a fucking... They baited that award out real hard last time, and I don't think it's going to work to the same extent. Especially when you've got other games now that are actually good in this category. I think it's going to get to... Elden Ring's going to win it, because God of War and Horizon have got fucking zero chance in this category. It's either Gran Turismo or Elden Ring.
Also, like God of War and Horizon, I played both of those and had weird audio things happen. Like Aloy sounded like she was stuck in a cave.
Oh yeah, the 3D audio glitches and stuff. Or
like God of War did something else where it sounded like, I don't know, I was standing by a fire for an extended period of time.
I had stuff where it was like the 3D audio was stuttering in God of War, where a character was clearly to the right of Kratos, but the audio was coming through on the left, and I was like,
oh no.
I was like, that's weird to me. I was like, that doesn't feel right. So I feel like it's between Gran Turismo and Elden Ring. I don't think there's enough fucking people that like Gran Turismo to get the win, to be honest.
That's
people
also
always
possible.
talk about audio cues and FromSoft games. I am more of a visual cue kind of person. I see the moves, I don't hear the shit. So, but I think Elden Ring's a lot for me.
Understandable.
So there we go. 2 Gran Turismos and an Elden Ring. Right. Anyway.
What a category.
Next? Best performance?
Next, best performance, awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. Horizon Forbidden West with Ashley Birch, Plague Tale Requiem for Charlotte McBurney, God of War Ragnarok for Christopher Judge, Immortality, Men Engage, and God of War Ragnarok, Sunny Solyuk.
Before we talk about this category
every year,
yeah,
but stop nominating people from the same game.
I agree. It's not as egregious as the time where half the category was Last of Us 2 nominations, like 2020. But yeah, please stop fucking doing it. Saying that, before we talk about these performances, all great performances, Christopher Judge is winning this fucking award. Like,
absolutely,
definitely.
Because he didn't win last year. Last time for God of War 2018, he didn't win because Roger Clark won it. He's winning it for this. Like, he
sure
is winning it. I don't care how great everybody else was. The performance of Kratos in that game he's won it. He's like, that's it. As soon as there's a scene that's like roughly about 3 hours into God of War Ragnarok between him and Atreus, and as soon as I saw that cutscene, I was like, no, he's won. I don't care what the rest of the game is. He's already won it. And just getting to the end, there's such emotion. And I do want to give a shout out to Sonny, because in God of War 2018, I thought, sorry, Sonny, you were annoying as fuck. But in this game, he's actually really fucking good. There are moments, he still has those cringy moments, but
he carries scenes on his own too in this game.
There's some absolutely shining scenes by Sonny in this game. Like, absolutely, the final scene of him in this game, without spoiling anything, is just like fucking incredible by both Christopher Judge and Sonny. They're both fantastic in that scene, but they're great. They're both great, but Christopher Judge fucking deserves this. Ashley Birch, I love Ashley Birch to pieces. She's great. But also, there was nothing about Aloy or Beta in that game that...
Yeah, the most I would say is, like, shout out to her for being able to portray 2 to 3 different people and have it be believable, even though it was all the same person, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, this... Yeah, and then, I haven't played Plague Tale, but I've heard the performances in that game are really good.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte McBurney, really good as Amicia. So.
And I haven't played Immortality, but I'm sure the performances in that are great as well, because people can't stop talking about Immortality. But I think Christopher Judge is a lock on this. I also want to give a shout out to, like, there's so many fucking people, there's so many good performances this year in video games, period, that I'm like, 5 people aren't enough. Yeah. Danielle Basutti as well, who plays Freya in this game. Freya was fucking phenomenal.
She was so good in this game, in God of War, man. Like, God.
Absolutely incredible performance as well. There's just, and like,
Xenoblade
Cast would never get noms, but there are some incredible performances.
Anime games have a ceiling.
Yeah, but I feel like especially Harry it was incredible in that game as well. So many great performances this year, but locking Christopher Judge. If he doesn't win this, I'll fucking...
I'm turning the stream off and going to bed.
Yeah, bro. I'll return to streaming and I'll play fucking Balan Wonderworld. That's how fucking common I'm. I don't know how fucking happy I am that that's a lock. Right. What's next? I feel like this next one.
Next is
Games for Impact. I've not played any of these.
I've played none of these.
Hunter,
I have also not played any of these.
Perfect.
I've heard about a few of them.
So these are for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. A Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling, Extinction is Forever, Hindsight, and I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, which is a great name for a
Memoir Blue came out like the middle of last year, so
so did I.
I was perplexed to see it on this list, but
I also want to give I Was a Teenage Exocolonist a shout out, because that's an incredible title, because I'm like, that's like an anime title, you know what I mean? Like, I would expect to sign into Crunchyroll and see 2 seasons of I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, and for it to be like a fucking isekai. Like, like that's It's a good name. I know nothing about these games, but I think it's either a Memoir Blue or Dusk Falls because they're the only two I really heard about this year. So
I heard chatter about Citizen Sleeper.
Did
like,
you? I
people
didn't.
seem to really enjoy that game.
Mm.
So I guess put me down for that one.
Put me down for Memoir Blue, Kyle.
I heard people chattering about As Dusk Falls, but also like when it came to like I don't think anyone was talking about any kind of thought-provoking message there. It was just kind of like the typical Telltale game drama stuff.
I will also say that the art direction for that game, it's got a very interesting art style where it's all like kind of hand-drawn and very weird. I tried playing this game and I just couldn't get into it. And, you know, I don't know what it is about the Telltale kind of formula, but to me, those kinds of games either have a comedy kind of spin to it, or almost kind of have to have that kind of angsty vibe that Life is Strange has to kind of get me into the world a bit. I need a bit of cringe in my life just to kind of get me in the door.
Yeah.
Whereas that game was just a bit too, its tone was a bit too kind of like it was a bit too much like kind of serious. And I was like, oh, okay. I feel like this is going to be a very kind of deep story, and the art style is kind of not really vibing with me too much. So I'm not even going to play this too much. I played like half an hour and I was like, I don't think this is for me. But I'm sure I've heard great things. But put me down for a Memoir Blue because it's the only one I've properly heard of other than As Dusk Falls. I don't know. Did you want to guess one, Kyle, just for shits and giggles?
I said Citizen Sleeper.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Having heard of none of those, I just put down one of them and said, very cool.
Yahtzee.
Right.
Don't remember what I actually voted for when I casted my votes, but,
well,
you know.
I'm on the actual website, so I can see what I voted for.
Oh, yeah, I could sign in and see what I voted for.
I wouldn't recommend it. You know what the Game Awards website's like.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hassle.
I can't believe Jeff is trying to get crypto for me.
Come on. Yeah, Jeff. Come on. Anyway, what's next?
Next is Best Ongoing Game, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. That's a lot of words.
Yep.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, or Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
I'm shocked about two things here. One, I can't believe Overwatch 2 didn't get a nom for removing content. That's a tragedy, bro. I feel like that's really funny. The less of Overwatch, the better. Two, I also think it's interesting that No Man's Sky didn't get a nom this time for Best Ongoing Game, and I 100% believe it's because it's won this award too many fucking times. They were like, no more No Man's Sky. We get it. You guys.
Apex Legends even do anything this year?
Added new heroes. They always update Apex Legends. You know how it is. Destiny 2 as well is just...
It had another expansion.
And Fortnite just keeps being Fortnite. Here's my guess.
It's
either Final Fantasy 14 or Genshin Impact because they have the most fucking rabid fan bases.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 is what I'll take. I ain't no gotcha jabroni.
I am also going to go with Final Fantasy 14 because Final Fantasy 14 simps are forever, aren't they, really?
They are.
And Genshin Impact is just Genshin Impact. Like, what can I say? I've tried getting into that game. No, I will never get into that game. My brain, which is funny, as someone who has kind of fucking like addictive tendencies, that game just does not appeal to me in the slightest, which I'm kind of grateful for, to be honest.
You should be. Yeah. Now, the content that they add to Genshin Impact, it's just like, the issue with it is that it's usually not permanent content. Like, unless it's a story update, it's just like side shit that goes away in 3 weeks. So, what's the point?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Final Fantasy 14: A Realm Reborn is free to play up to level 60.
60, blah, 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 blah. 6 million hours of content.
Up to the Heavensward expansion.
And, you know, we all laugh at Fortnite, but I always, like, Fortnite would not still be relevant if they didn't do a good job of being Fortnite, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so many games have lived and died. Like, you know, Overwatch died. It's come back with Overwatch 2, really, but that's just because they stuck a fucking fake sequel number on it and went, look, guys, different game. And I'm like, that's fucking cap. It plays better, but it's still fucking cap. games live and die, but Fortnite continues to have an audience, which is kind of, respectable. Because when you think about it, we all joke about the 11-year-olds that play Fortnite. But if you were 11 when you started playing Fortnite in 2017, spoiler alert, you're now 16, 17 years old. You could have easily have grown out of that video game, but if you're still playing it, then they've done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, that also has a chance. I think Destiny 2 and Apex Legends, I think they are too niche, really. People love Apex, people love Destiny, but I don't think they're going to win this category. I'd be very surprised if they did. So yeah, my vote goes for Final Fantasy 14. Fuck you, Genshin Impact, you piece of shit, you piece of ass. Get the fuck out of here.
Thanks for the views, though.
Thanks for the views, though. Popular. Whenever we talk, see you next year for another popular episode of the HGO podcast. What's next?
Next up is Hunter's category, Best Indies.
My God,
for outstanding creative
category.
For outstanding creative and technical achievements in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We got Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
Great category this year.
Dude, it's like
really good.
I want to be upset that Rollerdrome isn't here because I really liked Rollerdrome, but I respect all of these, so I'm not super upset. I'll get to where I'm upset that Rollerdrome is missing later.
The thing about this year is, when I look back at this year, it was a brilliant year for games. But I think
just in general, man.
It was a stop-start year where, it's like 2017. I feel like 2017 was such a great year for games because every month it felt like there was something to play or something to talk about, whether it was, all 20 million of the Nintendo Switch games that came out in launch year, or Nier Automata, or Persona 5, or, there was like so much stuff that came out in 2017. Horizon Zero Dawn, right? So much good stuff. And it came out all year long. Whereas 2022 was like, we had the first 3 months where there was so much good shit, right? You had Elden Ring, you had Horizon Forbidden West, you had Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you had Sifu, you had all this good shit. And then you've had the past couple of months where you've had another round of a load of good shit. But the middle of this year was just indies. And indies are great. I love playing indie games.
Yeah.
But they don't make a splash in the community the same way, if that makes sense. So it feels like it's been a content-light year, but when you actually look at it, there were so many good indie games that have kind of carried this year in terms of keeping you entertained.
For sure.
It's kind of impressive how many great indie games came out this year. Again, all of these deserve. If any of these won, I'd be like, fair play.
Yeah.
All pretty solid games.
I think Stray will probably win considering the other places it shows up at. Like, it seems to be what was on most people's minds.
100%. Stray's winning this one, no doubt.
If I had to cast my heart to a vote, it'd either be between Sifu or Neon White.
Mm-hmm.
So it's your vote for Stray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stray. I was just saying, of the ones that I've played,
Yeah, of the ones I've played, my heart goes to Neon. My heart goes to Neon White. I played a bit of Tunic, and it's very much a 2D Zelda, but in a good way. And I've played Neon White, and I love the gameplay of Neon White. I haven't played enough of it, but I will. And Sifu, I think Sifu's interesting because people really liked Sifu, but also it didn't review particularly incredibly well, which I always think is interesting. So when people,
it's weird.
When people always go, people I've seen a lot of people in the podcasting scene, the gaming scene go, why isn't Sifu nominated for more? And I'm like, probably because you didn't review it as well, so the public perception of it isn't as high as it would have been if you had reviewed it in the same way, because people love it. So I feel like that score is a bit
It's
wrong.
Like, where's the give me a few extra points, man.
But no, Stray's definitely winning this. There's no way Stray doesn't win this category.
Yeah.
It's got cats in it, and it had Sony backing money. Of course,
cats win the internet.
Yeah.
This is true.
And Sony wins video games.
And for now, fucking hell,
for
not
now.
for long at this rate. Yeah,
God,
not for long at this rate.
You know what? Y'all convinced me.
Why? What were you going to go with?
What were you going to vote?
Neon White.
Oh, Neon White. I love Neon White, but I don't think Neon White has enough people to vote for Neon White.
Yeah, Neon White's like the inverse of Sifu's problem, where it reviewed well, but I also don't think it penetrated beyond its niche very far.
If I was going to rank these in terms of most likely to win, Stray would be number 1, then Cult of the Lamb, then Sifu, then Neon White, then Tunic. That would be my ranking, probably, in terms of popularity. Because the thing with indie, as much as I hate the way this is for indie category, because it's like, it's supposed to be smaller games that you're supposed to be like, oh, let's reward excellence on a smaller budget level. But it's still a popularity contest at the end of the day. So whichever one got the most clicks, whichever one got the most downloads is 100% going to win it.
Also helps Stray that it was PS Plus game.
Oh yeah,
for a
100%.
while.
The PlayStation money, man. That PlayStation money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have played it if it wasn't for that PlayStation money.
Same.
Well, I probably would have, but when it was heavily discounted. Because I'm an evil, evil boy.
I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have played it right away.
Anyway, next, our favorite category.
Best mobile games.
Do you not have phones? God, come on.
For the best place. For the best game playable on a mobile device.
All right, I
Apex
just want to say,
Legends mobile.
Yeah. I made the "do you not have phones" joke, and I want to know. I did not know Diablo.
How did Diablo Immortal get nominated?
And 2, I'm as shocked as you are because I was like, "There's no way it's gonna get nominated," but it did.
How?
Wait.
Diablo Immortal's a terrible video game.
I heard
it's
nothing
the one where
but
the
negative things about this game.
To unlock everything in Diablo Immortal, it costs like $10,000 or something like that. It's like really bad. It's like really bad.
Damn.
Anyway,
Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy.
Genshin's gonna win.
I feel like Marvel Snap is gonna win because no one will shut up about it.
No, here's the thing. I think this is 100% a industry thing where I feel like everybody and their fucking best friend on their podcast is talking about Marvel Snap, but nobody outside of this podcast sphere is playing Marvel Snap. I don't think the Marvel Snap will. I think Genshin fans are too rabid. They'll win something at this fucking game award. Because it's the thing about Marvel Snap is you hear the kind of funny people. You hear like Cal Bosman loves Marvel Snap. He made a whole fucking video about how he was addicted to it and he had to delete the app or whatever. And it's like,
the outlets that vote for these things are Marvel shills.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is audience vote for the winners of the years counts more than obviously the industry people like the industry outlets have more of a say of who actually gets put forward as nominations, and then it seems like audience sways this vote more for this part. And I just don't see a fucking world where Marvel Snap has more than bigger sway than Genshin. I'd love to be proven wrong. Like, I'd happily take it. A good Marvel mobile game. Never thought I'd see the day, but it happened apparently. And all it took was for them to rip off.
Thought we were beyond those days.
Yeah. Same to be honest. But anyway, you go with your heart, Kyle. I'm going with Genshin.
I also went with Genshin.
Well, there you go. Then. You went with your wallet because you've already invested too much for it to fail. What's next? I've just realized that we're nearly an hour in and we're only on category 12.
Oh baby. I mean, we're like halfway there, dude.
Yeah, we're 50 minutes in and we gotta do regular predictions as well.
All right.
Who cares? It's a long one. If you've made it this far, you're in for the long haul. Buckle up, you don't care.
I don't think people would click on these expecting it to be short if more than one person is talking about it, to be fair.
True.
And I mean,
anyway.
We can probably breeze through these next 3.
Go on.
Next up, we got Best Community Support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates/patches.
No Man's Sky is on this one.
They got one nom.
Oh, hey, it is.
I voted for it.
You're part of the problem.
I want a world where every year No Man's Sky wins this fucking award because it's just so funny. I just love the idea. I just want a year where you just have fucking No Man's Sky, like the bread update, where it's just like you can now bake a loaf of bread, it gets a nomination and wins, like every time. I just want like the bees update, it's like we added one annoying bee on every planet. See if you can find them all. Yeah, you can't really see them. All you've got to listen for is the really loud fucking bzzz sound that's just like 20 miles away. And it's like, wow, great update. Win best community support. Like, that's what I want from No Man's Sky. What are the other nominations anyway? What are they?
Right, we didn't even talk about that.
No.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. I went with FF14.
I think FF14 is going to win.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 14.
It's time. No Man's Sky's won this category too many years in a row. It's time.
So I'm putting you down for FF14?
Yeah.
All right.
Again,
Very
I feel like
cool.
it's the same. It's the same kind of arguments we had for the last one, except No Man's Sky's in this one
Yeah.
instead of Genshin, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Innovation
what's
and
next?
accessibility, recognizing
good.
software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
Yes.
Ooh, baby, which PlayStation game's gonna win it?
I already know, but let's read the nominations anyway.
We've got As Dusk Falls,
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok,
Yep.
Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and
Yep.
The Quarry. Quarry.
Quarry.
The Query. That's a different kind of thing.
Usually,
question.
Right, the thing with The Last of Us Part 1 is most of the time, I would laugh if this got a nomination for the Game Awards, but the fact that it's in this category, I feel like it makes the only exception to the rule, is because I feel like the only thing that Last of Us 1 did that was quote-unquote new was the shit ton of accessibility features that game added to The Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
Even compared to Last of Us Part 2, it's like they really went all in. Naughty Dog, say what you want about Naughty Dog games, they're all the same, they're all fucking generic, you can say whatever you want, but the amount of work that they've put in recently on accessibility features is fucking nutty.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna win. And I think that everybody on Twitter is going to have a fucking field day going, how can The Last of Us win a Game Award? It came out a decade ago.
Imagine a world where God of War doesn't win any of its categories because
I
Elden Ring wins all of them, and then
100%
Naughty
think
Dog
that's a
wins this
possibility.
one.
That's 100% a possibility.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Here's the thing about
man.
accessibility options in God of War. They're great. They're not perfect.
I didn't look at any of them.
There's some good ones.
I don't know.
There's some where I'm like, that's not so good. Also, again, this is just a personal gripe. The difficulty slider, up until this week as of recording, the difficulty slider in-game didn't fucking work.
Really?
If you tried to change your difficulty in-game, because I was like, this is too easy, I'm over-leveled a bit, and this, that's something coming from fucking Ethan likes to play games on baby bitch mode.
Yeah.
I was like, I was doing too much side questing, so my axe and my blades were too high a level, so I was like, I'm going to turn it up for a little bit, tried to turn it up a bit. It didn't. It would load the game. It's like, we need to restart you from your checkpoint. Same difficulty. Just didn't fucking work. So in terms of accessibility, that's not really a good accessibility feature, is it, if you can't change the difficulty because it was bugged?
Yeah, it's probably The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. I'm glad it wasn't nominated for anything else, but
Mm-hmm.
gotta give credit where credit was due.
Annoyed.
Yeah.
That would have been really dumb.
Gotta give it credit where credit's due, because if there was one reason to buy The Last of Us Part 1, it's because it's how easily it made that game accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
I remember that being the argument of, if you've been unable to play Last of Us Part 1 before because of the lack of accessibility features, because the original Last of Us is a really fucking finicky and hard game to play through, so it's not perfect. I feel like that's the only reason. So yeah, that's what I'd go for. My gut says that.
Sounds good. Now, how does your gut feel about VR and AR?
I mean, this is obvious. Like,
I mean, yeah.
you don't need to be a fucking fortune teller to predict this one, boys. Like,
No.
If there was bets on this, I'm not a betting man, but if there was bets on this, it would be a completely low stakes bet because it's the most obvious fucking answer in the history of answers.
Legit. All right.
But yeah, best VR game.
For best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform, we got After the Fall, Bone Lab, Moss, Book 2, Red Matter, and Among Us.
Among Us is winning. Lock it in.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Like, the meme power of Among Us might have slowed down, but you still know what it is.
It also, here's the thing about Among Us, is in VR, there's something about it. I've not seen much of it, and it hasn't like taken off like original Among Us, because of course it didn't, because like, how many people actually own VR headsets?
12 people own VR headsets. And they're divided amongst like different headsets. So it's like 3 per headset.
It is really funny watching the fucking beans walk around in 3D. Like, it's really funny to me. Like, it's
with their
just
disembodied hands just...
Yeah. There's no hands. You can't see the other person's hands.
Oh, there's no hands?
No, because to stab him, you have to like actually like you have to press the button to stab him, which is on the HUD. So you have to actually move your hands to like a stabbing kind of position.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it'd be obvious if they were the fucking because they were like stab. But it's very funny. It has proximity chat, which is great because it's like they took a mod for the original Among Us and just added it into the main game, which is great. I like it.
Cool.
It's obviously gonna win. Although to be honest, I bet you public lobbies in that game is just a bunch of fucking 8-year-old screamers. Like that's probably tragic.
Yeah, that's the thing about proximity chat is I would eventually, unless I was playing with people I knew, that'd get turned off. I'd mute everyone.
Public lobbies, I get turned off.
Same way I mute everyone else when I'm playing any game where you're online.
It's of course. But yeah, lock it in. Among Us. Of course it is.
Yeah.
The only one I'd heard of is Moss. That's the only one I'd heard of all of these.
I don't think I'd even heard of the rest of them.
I don't even know.
We don't pay attention to VR here.
That's definitely true. Not if PlayStation VR 2 was going to be $550. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Unlucky Sony, you lost your coverage. Now send me a PSVR 2 with our 100 viewers. Anyway. What's next?
Best action game. For the best game in the action genre. Focus primarily on combat. Dude, this is a fun category.
Oh my God.
Okay. So we've got Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Makes
Call
sense.
of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Neon White.
Yeah.
Sifu.
Yeah.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Call of Duty needs to stay in its lane. You're telling me that Call of Duty got nominated, but something cool like Rollerdrome was not? Get out of here.
Call of Duty is not winning this. I don't think... Here's the thing, right? I don't know who's going to win this, because here's the thing. Call of Duty is not going to win this. And if it does, I'm going to be fucking pissed off. This is the first one where if something wins, I'll be pissed off. Bayonetta 3...
If Bayonetta was a bit higher received, I would have said this was a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I think the problem with this is, I'm honestly shocked. If you told me at the start of the year that Bayonetta 3 would be a controversial entry in the Bayonetta franchise, I would have been like, are you fucking stupid? Bayonetta 3, I think it's safe to say is the worst Bayonetta game in terms of reception. Like, people don't seem to like Bayonetta 3 as much as they like 1.
Yeah, it's very divisive.
Yeah. And that's not even including the fucking voice actor controversy that we had.
Yeah, no,
the whole saga.
The product itself
is just
divisive.
as a game.
Yeah. So I don't even think that's a slam dunk, to be honest. Like, I don't know who to fucking go for here, because it's like, Sifu and Neon White, I feel like they have enough audiences where if Bayonetta 3 was controversial enough that they could snap this up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's possible, but I also think like Sifu and Neon White have a lot of the same fans.
Audience, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be like a split vote thing where I think Bayonetta casts an overall wider net.
I'm going to say that I think Bayonetta 3 will win it.
Same. Like, it's not as big of a slam dunk as like Devil May Cry.
Oh.
Oh no.
We may have lost Hunter. But I think he was going to talk about... Oh. Okay, Hunter, you're back? There you go.
I think so.
Say whatever you said again, because after Devil May Cry, you died.
No, I was saying that like that was a slam dunk that year, but then even then, like Apex Legends was nominated, and that was like the year that Apex Legends came out. I was like, I swear to God, if that wins, I'll be so annoyed.
Yeah.
But I still think Bayonetta's probably got this.
Same.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Neon White or Sifu won. I'd be
even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that'd be fucking funny.
Yeah, that'd be amusing.
I literally of the hour and a half of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge that I played, it was a fun 2D beat 'em up.
Yeah,
it was fun. Anyway,
I just love seeing Ninja Turtles on here with the rest of these.
Right, what's next, Kyle?
Oh, best action/adventure.
Ah, yes.
Everyone's favorite. A thing that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Carry on.
For the best action/adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. In here
Yes.
we've got Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic.
This is why I will
Surprised
never.
Elden Ring wasn't in here.
No, it got role-playing game.
It's
Well,
RPG,
yeah, but
it's
it could have been
RPG.
both.
Yeah, but yeah, well, here's the thing,
No.
right?
Throw it in everything. Best VR game.
Is God of War solely in this because you have to walk between fights? Is that literally why this is in here? Because
I don't know.
I feel like God of War is more of an action game than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which I just class as a shooter.
I think shooters go in the action category.
But we've had a shooter category before.
Genres are stupid, and let's abolish all of them.
It is, because I remember back in like 2020, Doom was in Best Action with Hades. But
the thing about Doom is, I understand Doom because Doom is like fucking get up in your face. Yeah, I've got a shotgun, but I'm gonna come for your head while I'm at it. Like I'm shooting from point blank.
It's more exciting than
Whereas
the average shooter game. Call of Duty.
Let me just sit behind cover for a second and maybe watch a set piece where I'll have to press the jump button at some point.
I mean, I'm not gonna think too hard about that because Call of Duty shouldn't have been nominated.
True.
So
I agree with that.
As far as like, it's like if you look at God of War compared to the rest of the games that were on that last category, those do kind of have a more consistent, quicker pace to it.
The only thing I'll say is it's like I feel like the only difference between Bayonetta 3 and God of War is that God of War has a fucking story and collectibles. I think that's the only fucking difference. Like I feel like there's a lot of walking in Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of walking in Bayonetta, because they're levels. I think, is it just because it's kind of open-ish world with God of War, where you can go back to the levels? Because people who say that God of War is an open world, I'm kind of like, there's open sections, but really it's just each realm's kind of a level.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But I digress. This is why I don't like action between action and adventure. I feel like it's very stupid.
It's goofy.
It makes no sense.
It's like
my brain.
It's like action adventure has to have its own category because like a lot of if you're basing it solely on what game has the best action, a lot of times games that focus on that would take it's goofy. Yeah. But I think God of War wins this category.
Oh, 100%. Did we say what the noms were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure. But yeah, Plague Tale. I don't think would win this. Horizon Forbidden West. I feel like I'm sorry, Horizon. Maybe
any other year.
Horizon 3. Maybe right. Horizon 3. Here's a tip from me to you, Gorilla. February's just not your month. Maybe next time, go for like I don't know, August. I don't know. I feel like August is a good month because only shit games come out in August. Saints Row came out in August. Maybe go for then, because I feel like the story of Horizon would be so much different if we instead were comparing Horizon. We compared Horizon to Elden Ring. If we were instead comparing Horizon to Saints Row 2022, we would have been like magnum opus right here. Like, geez.
I hope that Horizon 3 comes out. And this doesn't really make sense because Spider-Man 2 is not out yet, and we don't even know if it'll hit. But it'd be funny if Horizon came out the same year as an Insomniac game, just because they're the two that never win.
Oh, that'd be an interesting year. Saying that, I 100% believe that it could be possible for Horizon 3 and Wolverine to hit around the same time, depending on how quickly they go into development. Horizon 3.
Yeah, it depends.
But no, poor Gorilla, always the bridesmaid. But at the same time, it's like Horizon's more Horizon. And whereas God of War was more God of War, it also had an amazing story to boot, which is why I feel like it gets drawn up more in the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Anyway, what's next? Is it best action stroke platformer?
That's Neil White.
It's the Japan category. I forgot.
Yeah, it's best role playing.
Yeah.
For best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massive multiplayer experiences. None of these are MMOs.
I also want to
Actually,
say
wait, no,
that
Elden Ring's online.
includes a massively multiplayer experience.
No,
No,
you can only
Elden
play
Ring's-
with 2 people at a time.
It's a co-op. Yeah,
Massive,
you can play with
massive
2 people, or you
multiplayer,
can
Hunter.
invade. I also want to say that Triangle Strategy and Xenoblade don't like character customization. Yeah, they have fucking like skill trees and like stuff like that, like little tinkering stuff. But
Yeah,
it's not like when I think character customization, I think of like, Saints Row or Elden Ring, where you can turn your person blue and then have them be like 6 foot tall and have a massive pot belly and call them like, whatever you want. Yeah. Whereas, like, Live Alive, set characters. Triangle Strategy is based on, like, has its own party characters. Xenoblade has its own party characters. It's like, there's not really...
Oh,
Pokemon,
like
you've got tiny customization options, like changing your clothes.
like
But so does
in your
God of
team
War.
building.
Yeah.
It's more than just character customization. It's also like your team that you build.
Yeah, but they're saying
the
with rich
those choices
player
you
character customization, which is I'm not saying that these aren't RPGs, Carl. I'm saying that the description's bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, it's just a description of buzzwords. That's all it is. That's all any of this is.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we just listed all of them. But in
Yeah,
case
it's
you
Elden
missed it
Ring,
in the
Live Alive,
yelling.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Elden Ring is going to win this category. Lock it the fuck down.
Yes,
Thank you
it
very
is.
much. Now let's talk about how great the rest of the fucking games on this list are, because they're all excellent.
Play Live Alive. This game's fantastic.
I've heard great things about Live Alive.
This game's wonderful. It's super underrated. I think it came out in August, actually. Actually, no.
It came out the end of
came out a few weeks before Xenoblade 3, because this was my filler until that came out. But no, great game. It's a HD 2D remake of a SNES game that came out in 1994 in Japan only. So it's nice that the rest of the world finally gets this little piece of history.
Yeah.
Game focuses on like 8 individual time period stories. So you'll play there's like, you go through prehistoric times, modern times, China, Japan, the
Wild
near
West,
future and the
right?
distant future. There's a
the
Wild West world.
Wild West, starring Will Smith, yeah.
Yeah. This game's great, dude. Honestly, check it out. All the stories in it are super short as well. So you can get done with them in like a few hours. This game's great. Play Live Alive. I can't shield this game out enough. I love seeing Arceus on you. Yeah, it's also cheap.
It's like $35.
But I think at the moment it's still Switch exclusive. I don't know if it'll ever come to anything else.
I probably will.
Octopath did eventually.
Yeah, but
Triangle Strategy came to Steam earlier this year too.
Octopath still isn't on PS4, but Octopath 2 is coming day and date to PS4. Think about that for a second. And
that is so weird.
And Octopath went to fucking Game Pass, but Octopath 2 isn't going to Xbox. What the fuck are you doing, Square?
Make it make sense.
It's like you don't want that franchise to do well for some reason. You just want to...
Square Enix is as Square Enix does.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, nice to see
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
For a game that came out in January, it's nice to see it on this list somewhere.
Nowhere close to winning, but
no.
I loved Legends Arceus. I think Legends Arceus was great. It was
a fun time.
For what it was great for what it was, but it wasn't like, it's not incredible, but it was a fun time. I like it quite a bit. Triangle Strategy is Strategy. Solid.
It's good enough. Solid gameplay. Mediocre story.
It's got triangles.
It doesn't have triangles.
I disagree.
It has strategy, though.
There is strategy, if you can call hit things really hard strategy.
I sure do. It's my strategy in every game I play.
I also want to say, Triangle Strategy has like one of the weirdest box arts of all time. And what I mean by that is it's like a really nice piece of concept art, like artwork, but it in like no way, shape, or form looks like cover art, if that makes sense. Like, it just, I don't know what it is about it, but nothing about Triangle Strategy's artwork screams like what it is. Yeah, it's just like nice artwork. It looks better there than it does on the Game Awards website. It is. But it's like nothing about it screams what it is to me, if that makes sense.
They should slap a grid on it. That'll do it.
Yeah, there you go. Now it's
well, don't worry. The reverse art is just character sprites.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I think Octopath had a similar situation where it was just like, oh, cool looking art that
what was
wouldn't.
Octopath's box art? No, you see, Octopath.
It's the 8 travelers all together.
8 travelers, so you can see it. Whereas Triangle Strategy is literally the back of some random
staring
fucker
at the
with
distance.
sword. Yeah, it's like
well, that's the pro tag. Yeah, if you couldn't guess by the sword.
Yeah, it's just very weird. Anyway, and then obviously,
and
what have we not said about Xenoblade Chronicles?
What have we not said about this?
We have a fantastic game.
We have a 3-hour video on it.
We do. It's brilliant.
It's great.
It's about time Xenoblade got nominated for something.
It's just a shame that Elden Ring is also here.
Maybe when Xenoblade 4 comes out, it can actually win something.
Dude, I can't wait for Xenoblade 4 and Horizon 3 to fight each other in 2027.
And still lose to Elden Ring 2. But no, Xenoblade's fantastic. In my opinion, it's the best Xenoblade game. I think it's amazing. For sure. It's a fantastic video game.
And for sure.
It's one of the best Nintendo Switch games ever released. I feel like if you haven't played it, go and play it. Even if you haven't played Xenoblade 1 or 2, you can play Xenoblade 3.
Yeah, just play this one.
Dude, that's the other thing. That's the other thing about this category. 4 of the 5 games on here are on the Switch.
Yeah.
Switch exclusive with a little asterisk next to Triangle Strategy.
No, I'll 100% say this. Nintendo Switch has carried RPGs this year. There has been no real RPGs on other platforms really this year that have been any salt.
I haven't really played any this year, to be honest, aside from I started Triangle Strategy.
Same.
There's been re-releases, right? You've had Persona 5 come to everywhere fucking else and stuff like that. But it's like there's not really been any major JRPGs or RPGs really in general this year.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Because I feel like we always have almost too many RPGs a lot of the time. It's like, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, usually it's just games with RPG elements. But not specifically.
I mean, it's easy to tell when games just have assimilated the RPG elements into their own nonsense, and then what is actually an RPG. Like God of War has RPG elements, but it's not an RPG.
But, usually it's like you'll have like your cyberpunks, or you'll have something where it's like there'll be a big Western. This is the first time that I can remember where you have like. You don't have a Western representation in terms of RPG. This is all JRPGs this year. Last year you had Cyberpunk 2077. Tales of Arise won, which was nice.
Yeah,
Scarlet Nexus. I did not count Scarlet Nexus as a fucking RPG. That's an action game.
It sure is paced like one.
Fuck off. No.
They just saw anime and said it's
They just saw that it was 30 hours and was like, gotta be an RPG.
30 hours.
Gotta be. Nothing else is that long.
No one would make a 30-hour action game. No one would want to fucking play that. Yeah. It's like, last year, the year before that, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. God, Yakuza. I need to get into Yakuza at some point. Next year is going to be my Dark Souls and Yakuza year until a load of games come out. Like those are my backlogs. I'm gonna be like, I'll play Yakuza Kiwami, then I'll play Demon's Souls, then I'll play Yakuza 2, then I'll just keep back to back. It's gonna be great. Except I will 100% not do that, and I'll probably play Mass Effect or something else instead. Anyway, what's next?
Best fighting games. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. It's interesting though. We've only got four nominations for this category. It's very odd.
Jeff Keighley was fucking drunk when he did this.
Why do they insist on making fighting a category every year?
They can never fill it.
They can never fill it.
They had to pull Sifu. Which is not a fighting game.
Dude,
I also would probably win, because if people are cracked enough to nominate it, they're cracked enough to vote for it.
Dude, it's like when Crash Team Racing was embraced best fucking sports and racing, and it won. And it's like...
Anyway, I don't think we read these.
Anyway,
our nominations are DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, The King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and motherfucking Sifu. Sifu's not a fighting game. That's, get that garbage out of here.
Sifu's not a fighting game. Number two,
Number
I
two.
voted for Sifu because it's fucking hilarious. So my vote has gone to Sifu.
Number 3, Persona 4 Arena came out this year.
Oh, but
it was a re-release, sure, but it released 10 years ago.
They let Mortal Kombat DLC on the 1 year, so you know.
Yeah, I feel
Jump Force was allowed the year before, so Persona 4 can be allowed.
Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Persona 4 Arena Ultimate should have replaced Sifu in this, probably. Because, like I say,
people probably just forgot about it.
Yeah, Keely 100%. Which is funny because it was announced at last year's fucking Game Awards.
Yeah.
I hate Jeff Keighley so much.
Right, well, see, here's the thing, right? I can 100% see that there'll be memers like me who see Sifu is on the list and immediately click vote and monkey brain hive mind this shit just because I think it'll be the funniest moment of all time if best fighting game of 2022 is Sifu.
I honestly think it will win because like
I also am like
every game here is like super niche. Except for maybe Multiverses, which came and fizzled out in the span of 4 seconds.
In the sake of,
it had a battle pass to unlock characters.
Yeah.
In the sake of integrity, I will feel that Multiverses will win this award. In the sake of memes, I hope to God that it's Sifu, because that'll be funny. In terms of video games...
For the sake of memes, Sifu. For the sake of integrity... I'd put DNF Duel for Multiverses.
No. Well, here's the thing.
Really?
Here's the thing.
Multiverses is stupid, man. I like the betas that I played of DNF Duel.
I feel like Multiverses will win because of the community vote. I feel like Sifu should win for the memes, and then I feel like if we're talking about an actual fighting game that should probably win, it probably should be King of Fighters.
Yeah, I gave my vote to KOF. Just, I think, on brand recognition. It should win.
But, oh my god, when I saw Sifu...
Arxis didn't do anything to advertise DNF Duel after it came out.
I also want to specify...
At least not in time for the Game Awards.
I know we're making predictions later, but I want to make a prediction. This is 100% a category that Jeff Keighley fucking glosses over. I would just want to specify
Absolutely.
He'll just say,
absolutely.
Best fighting game goes to Sifu and move on, and then everyone...
Sifu's going to win a different award, and then it also won fighting game. That'll be what it is.
Yeah, that's actually 100% it. What a shitty fucking category. That's funny.
So stupid, dude.
What's next? Oh, it's the Nintendo Award. I forgot about
dude. Which Nintendo game do you think wins this year?
Okay.
Best family game. Best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Yeah. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
Kirby wins this.
Yeah, Kirby wins this because people won't let Kirby go as far as it not being nominated anywhere else.
Also, because here's the thing, right? I agree, like every normal person, every time Kirby fans proclaim that Kirby is the best thing since fucking sliced bread, go, where are your brain cells? Kirby's boring as fuck. But at least with the demo, I played the Kirby and the Forgotten Land demo, and I didn't want to buy it because I was like, it's just an interesting 3D platformer. I don't want to pay full price for it. But for what I played from Kirby is Kirby and the Forgotten Land is it's a new take on Kirby. And from what I've seen, and apparently according to people, the game gets particularly good in the second half because it's actually a challenging platformer in the second half, which I was like, oh, that's actually interesting. I might want to I will eventually pick that up. I feel like that's the best one for this category. I feel like Mario and Rabbids is a really good video game. I've heard nothing but great things. But if you're telling me a fucking Mario strategy game whose biggest influence was probably XCOM is going to win Best Family Game, I think you're tripping.
Not a chance.
I couldn't finish Kingdom Battle because I got bored. Never mind an 8-year-old. Right. Nintendo Switch Sports is fucking garbo. They only just added golf. I don't think it's even in yet, is it?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to Switch Sports.
Well, it's either out now.
I forgot it came out this year, to be honest.
Yeah, it's I played it for 6 hours with Sam, got bored, and never touched it again. I played it for 1 day.
Yeah, that's about right.
Splatoon 3 is the worst video game ever fucking made.
God.
It's not. It's fine. It's just more Splatoon. But there's no matchmaking. And it's like, there's something about Splatoon, and yes, it is mad 'cause bad. But it's like, Splatoon
At least you admit it.
Splatoon sweats are the biggest sweats on any video game I've ever played in my life. It's like, I want to play Splatoon 3 knowing that it's like, I'm going into Splatoon 3 with like the mental capacity of an 8-year-old, right? Ready to, I just want to ink some floor, just have a good time, like I did in Splatoon 1. I don't know what's happened in the past 7 years, but it's the sweatiest fucking game alive, and there's no
the 8-year-olds grew up to their try-hard teenage phase is what happened.
It's just there are some days where I play Splatoon 3, like when I played Splatoon 3 with friends, I have a great time. I play Splatoon 3 by myself and I go to a dark place and I never want to play the game again. And it's like,
even the first statement isn't always true. The last Splatfest you guys played, you were miserable.
True. It was very true. It was an awful fucking time.
It was very bad.
And Lego Star Wars, I heard good things about, but I feel like that game kind of dropped off a cliff.
Came
I
and
think
went.
people will talk about it, yeah. So I think Kirby wins.
Yeah, Kerbo's got this.
I also want to say though, I do love the Splatoon single player, and I will buy the expansion.
That was good.
The Splatoon single player stuff is always great, and I will continue to support them on more Splatoon single player stuff. Salmon Run is also fun, but could you maybe next time you bring that back, do something with it instead of just copying and pasting it from Splatoon 2? That'd be great. Thank you. Give us more content, because I just don't play Salmon Run, because it's like, I played this 4 years ago.
This is why they put it behind a time gate.
Yeah, they opened the time gate, and I'm like, well, I already played it with the time gate for 50 hours last time. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
What's next?
Best sim strategy.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can probably blitz through this.
That was a natural. Sorry, that was just a natural reaction to sim strategy. I'm sorry. What are they, Cal? Sorry.
Best game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy or simulation gameplay, irrespective of platform. Dune Spice Wars, Mario & Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, Total War, Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3. Where's Triangle Strategy? Why isn't that here, Jeff?
I guess being
it's got strategy in its name.
I guess being put an RPG left it stranded there and not in this.
I think
Rabbids is going to win this because who even has heard of these other ones?
I've heard of
Very cool.
I've heard of 2 Point Campus.
I heard of that one.
And I've heard of Total War Warhammer 3, but I don't think anyone cares. Victoria 3 I've never heard of, I'm sorry. And Dune Spice Wars, the only thing I know about that is it was announced at the Game Awards last year, and I didn't even know it came out. So
I think it went on a world tour of like the rest of Jeff's events the following year too, because I feel like
it went on the Keighley Press Circuit, the world-renowned Keighley Press Circuit, where everyone fucking sighs whenever they see it show up again.
Yeah, it did the Godfall thing.
Man, I love the Keighley Press Circuit of announced once, go, that looks kind of cool, then he beats you to death with it until you're fucking sick of seeing it.
Until you hate it.
Have you heard of Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide, bitch? You gotta hear about it.
Have you heard of this other Warhammer game? I feel like he's always hitting us with like 3 of those at a time at least.
Bro, like, I feel like they must give him so much money because it's like, only at Jeff Keighley's bullshit do you ever hear about Warhammer 26 million Firebreak, whatever the next one's called.
Maybe they show up on the nerdy PC game things, but I don't watch those, so I don't know.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But, man, fucking hell. Jeff
you know
Keighley
what we do pay attention to?
Yeah, what?
Sports and racing games.
Where's Crash Team Racing?
Oh, where is Crash Team Racing?
I will give them this. I will give them this. At least this year, there are actual sports and racing games. I will give them
this
that.
Is true.
What are the noms, Carl?
We got F1 22.
Yep.
FIFA 23.
Yep.
NBA 2K 23.
Yep.
Gran Turismo 7 and Ollie Ollie World.
I love how Ollie Ollie World did not get an indie nomination, but it did get a best sports and racing game. It's above indie.
That's funny.
Here's what I gave my vote to Ollie Ollie World because I was just, whenever there's an indie game or something in this, I'm like, that's cute. It gets my nom instantly. But Gran Turismo will win this.
Yeah.
I feel.
So I'm of 2 minds here. Gran Turismo seems like an obvious one because, it's Gran Turismo, but also after its launch, people seemed to kind of be annoyed by it because of and historically, if you make a game that's actually fun, it seems to win this category if it lands in there. Like Tony Hawk won before, Crash won before that.
Because here's the thing:
So
F1 and FIFA and NBA are never going to win this category. Because
ever.
maybe
They're just
4
always gonna
years
be
ago,
here.
I would have gone. Maybe 4 years ago, we would have made the argument: oh, FIFA's got so many fans because FIFA is like one of the biggest games in the world. People who play FIFA do not watch the fucking game,
aren't paying attention to
and
this.
don't give a shit. Because let's say Tony Hawk won one year, CTR won, and I still think that's the funniest shit ever. Because I remember having conversations with you guys before the podcast, because this was the year before the podcast, and I was like, I voted for CTR. It's not going to win, but that'd be funny as fuck if out of all these actual sports and racing games, Crash would win, and it did. And I was like, oh, cool, anything can happen in this category. It's a free-for-all. So I feel like Gran Turismo will still win, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if Ollie Ollie World 2 is definitely the second place nomination here.
I'll throw my vote at Ollie Ollie World just because, I'm of the camp that fun should win. Sports are silly.
Yeah, I agree. I just want the streak to continue. That's all I want. Just want the good old streak.
Me too. Also, the same developer as Rollerdrome, which was not nominated, so I want them to win something.
Fair enough. What's next, Cal?
Fair enough. I respect it. Best multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer game and design, including co-op and MMO.
Lord, this category.
This category is hilarious.
This is a category.
Go on,
so we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and everyone's favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
I want to say I voted for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of
It would be great if
I probably did too.
I think Splatoon's gonna win.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think if Splatoon wins, I think we cancel fucking I feel like we cancel video games. Because if Splatoon 3, with no fucking servers, with no skill-based matchmaking, and just pain throughout wins fucking best multiplayer game, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah. I think
it'll be either Modern Warfare 2 or Overwatch 2. And I think the only reason that Modern Warfare 2 has a chance is because of Warzone. And I feel like the only reason Overwatch 2 has a chance is because they stuck the number 2 in front of Overwatch. And they removed the player and made it fun. Here's the thing about Overwatch 2 is it's fun, but it's just Overwatch 1, but they removed a fucking teammate. And it's like, there's nothing there to keep you playing. There's no progression. There's no fucking anything. It's just a battle pass. And it's the worst battle pass in video game history. Because you don't even make money on the battle pass to buy the next one. They just want you to fucking flat out buy it each time. Like the scumbag Activision Blizzard always is. So it's like...
Yeah.
The gameplay behind it is so fun. It's a really fun game, but there's just nothing really to keep playing. But yeah, I feel like... Gut feeling, I feel like it's probably going to be Overwatch 2. If I said anything, it would probably be Overwatch 2. But I don't think it deserves it in the slightest, to be honest. And I'm hoping Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wins.
Yeah. See, maybe I'm just hoping Splatoon wins because I refuse to live in a world where Activision wins things.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
They don't deserve it. Unless it's Toys for Bob or, the people that have kind of, even though they are still under Activision Blizzard, have kind of huddled themselves in their own little environment that try and hide away from the bigger side of it. Yeah. Like I say, I don't think Multiverses will win. It's Splatoon 3. I feel like, Overwatch 2 or maybe Splatoon 3. But if it is Splatoon 3, that's going to be a laughing stock because that game barely fucking functions. So, is what it is. My favourite part is when if you're in the lobby before a Splatfest starts, the game just doesn't update and you don't get the Splatfest. You have to restart your game. That was my favourite part. Cat was just sitting in a lobby and it just didn't change to Splatfest for like 20 minutes, like 10 minutes. And I'll just restart the game.
It's great.
Anyway.
Working as intended.
So
next up, we've got Best Debut Indie.
Oh, are we skipping Content Creator of the Year? Are we skipping Content Creator of the Year?
Fuck it. Do you want to talk about... people we've never heard of?
Yeah, I want to
shout out to Nabil because he did a public service for free.
Yeah, Nabalian quit and got a nom, which I think is kind of sad that he's only being recognized because he basically because of his financial situation he was forced to quit. I feel like that's sad. I feel like
I don't care about the rest of these guys.
I'm gonna say this every year
the rest
until
of them are.
I'm gonna wait. Well, I know who they are because I'm normie enough to. Well, no, I don't know who No Brew is. No fucking clue. But I know the rest of them. But here's my thing, right? Is I'll keep asking it, Jeff. Where the fuck Scott the Was? Like, how many years are we gonna have to say where the fuck is Scott the Was until he shows up?
What? I'm pretty sure, yeah, with the exception of Abellion here, which was definitely
the rest
in
of them
industry. Yeah, that's the thing about this category that's dumb is it's always just best Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
Because you see, to me, there are so many great creators that make stuff about video games that aren't streamers. You know, Tim Rogers, Scott the Was. There are so many brilliant essay writers and just content creating people on the channel. Even people who do like podcasts and stuff like that that are centered around the world of like games. I'd much rather they did that than just people who sometimes show up and play video games on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. It's like, I like Ludwig. Ludwig's a likable personality. He makes some entertaining content. But the thing is, Ludwig isn't... He's just a personality. He's an internet personality, really. What's he most famous for? His subathon. He's not famous, really, for playing any other games that aren't Jump King or, like, other, like, kind of meme games, really. Like, I like Ludwig, and Ludwig's going to win this. I'll lock me in for Ludwig winning, because Ludwig is kind of almost like an internet icon at this point. He's one of those few streamers that I feel like people will rally behind.
My sister showed me an episode of that Jeopardy game that he made, and I nearly had a stroke because of all the people he had on were so dumb.
Yeah, streamers are.
I'm like, how do you not? I'm like, I hate all of you. These are easy.
There are some, I will not name names as well, and I think my main problem with it as well is they can do things that aren't too great, and they can say things that aren't great, and they can be properly... how people will hold them accountable and be like, this actually happened, and their only punishment is they just don't stream for 2 weeks and then come back and don't say a single word, and they get double the amount of viewers, and everybody just accepts it. And that's what I really don't
Dream
like.
Schmuck win last year, and he's very guilty of that.
Yeah, and he had the Minecraft cheating scandal. There was another. There was another streamer this year that had a load of allegations towards them. They just took a couple of weeks off. They came back, they had double the viewers, and they even made jokes about it on their return stream, and nobody even fucking batted an eyelid. Not going to name them because I feel like they're a piece of fucking garbage. But it's like, but here's the thing. Ludwig's a good, as far as I'm aware, from everything I've seen and from everything that I've heard, Ludwig's a decent guy. And he definitely puts, out of all of these people on this who isn't Nibel, definitely deserves it the most because he does put a lot of effort and work into what he makes. Like, he does a load of actual events and stuff like that. Like, you know, he did the subathon. He's got a chess boxing event coming up. He does actual stuff instead of just sitting like a reaction Andy watching fucking YouTube on Twitch. Yeah. I'm kind of sick of people whose job it is just to watch videos on Twitch with their chat get nominated, but the people that make the fucking videos that they're watching don't. It's like, God.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked
Where's
up.
Scott the Was, man? Where's fucking Tim Rogers? Where's fucking anybody that has an ounce of creativity?
I'd settle for Moist Critical.
Where is fucking Charlie? Like,
at least he talks like a regular person.
And so, yeah, that's why I want Ludwig. Because Nibel isn't going to win, as much as I'd like Nibel to win. I vote for Nibel.
I'd love it.
And that's why I want Ludwig to win, because he's the most creative. Like, out of the past couple of years, he's the most creative of them. Like, there's actually something about Ludwig where I'm like, okay, I understand why you're popular. Where most of the time, I don't get it. I'm a bit of a boomer, and I'm like, why? I don't get it. I get Ludwig, and I like Ludwig enough to say that Ludwig will probably win. I don't know who Nobrew is. I know Carl Jacobs works for Mr. Beast, and I know Cutie Cinderella is Ludwig's girlfriend, who is also a content creator. I also think that's really weird that they both got nominated in the same year. I'm like, at least space them out a year apart. This is like
best case scenario, those two split their own vote, and then Nibel wins.
Yeah, that's genuinely it. That genuinely is the best case scenario. For Nibel, anyway. Right. What's next, Kyle? Sorry, debut indie, was it?
Best debut indie. The best game for the best debut game created by an independent studio, new independent studio. We've got Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors. I said Neon White because I want it to win something.
Vampire Survivors.
I think Vampire Survivors wins this.
Yeah.
Straight up, because here's the thing.
Because it wasn't nominated for indie at all, so
I don't understand why. I don't understand why it wasn't because Vampire Survivors, for those of the people who are unaware, is this game that came out roughly about 6 months ago, 7-8 months ago, that people noted. And it was on Steam, and it's like $3.
Yeah.
and people have played it for like 30 hours, and it's just like a really good indie game. It's just the gameplay around it. It's just a lot.
It's just survive this endless wave of vampire monsters.
It kind of is like it's a 2D kind of horde kind of shooter thing, isn't it?
I played a game on the Switch that's like it, except with like a cyberpunk flavor called Akane, and I basically got that because I'm hoping that Vampire Survivors will come to something else eventually.
It's on Xbox at the moment, I know that.
Because I don't want to play it on Steam.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll come to something else, but people won't shut up about it.
Also, Neon White's nomination is weird because...
Oh, we lost Hunter.
We'll never know why.
I thought they made Donut County too.
Did they make Donut County? No, you're back. We heard you.
Did they?
The guy who directed it did, at least. I don't know if the studio.
Maybe he went and made a new studio. Maybe he made it.
That's possible.
I don't know. But yeah, I feel like it'll be either Vampire Survivors or Stray, and I feel like Vampire Survivors is going to win this. That's my gut.
Yeah, especially since Stray is already.
And yeah, Vampire Survivors didn't get nominated for anything else, where some people genuinely wanted Vampire Survivors nominated for Game of the Year. So it's like,
yeah,
I would not be shocked. Okay, what's next, Kyle?
Next is Best Adaptation, if y'all wanted to talk about that.
I love video game adaptations. They're always great, Kyle. They're always great.
Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. We've got Arcane, League of Legends.
Yep.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Yep.
The Cuphead Show. Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah.
And Uncharted.
Now, the thing about this is, it's an interesting
Why'd they wait till the year after Castlevania was done to make this a category?
Yeah, but the thing
because Jeff Keighley hates you.
The thing about this category is fun to hear. Is this is like one of the first years ever where we've had good adaptations of things. There are in this category 4 amazing adaptations of things and Uncharted. There is
and Tom Holland.
And here's the thing is, I've watched Uncharted recently. I saw the Uncharted movie, and what I can say about it is it's not Uncharted, but it's a perfectly fine action movie that's kind of like Indiana Jones. Is basically what it is. It's not like
that is my opinion of the Tomb Raider movie from a few years ago.
It's not. We're not at the same level of like Assassin's Creed of awful adaptation. Uncharted is it great? No. Is it a great adaptation of Uncharted? No. But it's passable and it's fine. It's not terrible. It's not like an awful movie. It's just passable. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, great fun movie. It's just more Sonic, and they've done a great job with it. I voted for it because
I also voted for it.
I think it's not going to get as nearly any recognition. So I was just like, I'll give them some, just so that they know that someone voted for it.
It was the only thing on this list I saw.
Cuphead Show. I've seen.
Oh, the Cuphead Show is great, man. I love it. It's so good. It got my brother to play the game. It's the only one of these I've actually watched. It's so good. I love the Cuphead Show. It's not going to win though. And
then here's the thing. Here's the two that are going to win. One or the other is Arcane, League of Legends, and Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I've heard nothing but incredible things about both of these. Which is, what can I say? Cyberpunk Edgerunners made people like Cyberpunk to the point where people like Cyberpunk Edgerunners changed people's opinions on the video game, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how that works, but fair enough.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Because
I feel like League of Legends made people like League of Legends instead of being miserable sods about it.
Because Studio Trigger is a renowned.
That's what Project L is for.
Yeah, it's true. Studio Trigger is a renowned anime studio, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about Edgerunners. I do plan on watching it. Same with Arcane. Arcane hit the fucking world by storm, man. Like,
yeah,
people who didn't give a shit about League of Legends watched Arcane.
Yeah.
See, here's the problem I have with this, is Arcane was so early this year. I feel like it was even January. It could have been that early.
I think it was, yeah.
I feel like Cyberpunk. I feel like Cyberpunk might win this on recency bias.
I'll throw my vote at Arcane just for fun.
But I feel like this is one of the closest categories. I feel like this is a coin toss, to be honest. I'm gonna put my vote just to be spicy on Cyberpunk Edgerunners, but I would not be shocked in the slightest if Arcane won, because I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about Arcane, and I need to go and watch it at some point.
Arcane with a C. Good variety in this one, guys.
And I just want to say, shout outs to both, Riot and CD Projekt Red for making amazing adaptations of games that do not have positive reception. because
yeah.
You know, I've heard Cyberpunk has been on a bit of a winning streak lately in terms of they have been patching that game and it's getting to a state that it should have been at launch. And then releasing a show that got such amazing fanfare and critical response has only just helped boost that, really. So fair play to them. Like They did some great stuff. Why are you voting for, Kyle?
I went with Sonic the Hedgehog too.
And you think that's going to win?
I do.
Okay. You go. You live in your little happy world. I like it.
Look, man. I'm taking Hunter's approach and voting with my heart.
You gotta believe. Right. Well, let's move on to the next category because Hunter's fucked off for you audio listeners. He's just left.
This is true. He's had enough of our shenanigans.
Let's go for the Elden Ring's out so it can no longer win this award. Let's go.
Thank God.
So many
most
years.
anticipated game. Yeah. Recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward.
What awful sentence
of
recognizing an announced game that has demonstrated potential to push the game. Who the fuck wants to use the word demonstrably? Like that doesn't sound. It's not a good word. I don't like it.
It's really not.
Demonstrably. It just sounds. I don't like it. It sounds like
demonstrably.
Demonstrably. When you like make up like
demon stability.
Demon stability, yeah. It just sounds like a made up word. It doesn't sound good. Anyway, what are the noms?
Anyway, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Fucking Lamau. Next.
Resi 4 remake.
Yeah.
Starfield.
Fucking Lamau.
And everyone's favorite, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
The good news for Nintendo this year is that they no longer have to be nominated under the unannounced sequel to The Legend of Zelda. The announced
unnamed sequel.
The unnamed sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I think Tears of the Kingdom wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's no rabid FromSoft fan base. So
well, here's the thing: Starfield. I don't know about you guys. I feel like Starfield, when it had the release date for this year. Like, there was some hype behind it. As soon as that game got delayed, like, even though it has, like, a date of, like, spring 2023 or whatever, it's died. Like, no one gives a shit about Starfield.
Dude, they moved it off of Skyrim Day, so no one cares.
I don't care, to be honest. I own an Xbox. I bought an Xbox for Starfield, and I watched that gameplay, and I was like, man, this looks fucking dull. Like, I don't want to play it. Like, I don't know. Starfield's going to be an interesting one. That's why I'm really looking forward to, when we talk about games that we're looking forward to next year, I'm looking forward to talking about Starfield because I feel like that's going to be one of those games where I feel like a load of people on the internet are going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then we're going to show up with our clown asses and I'm going to be like, listen to this, boys. It's shit.
It's not like I'm going to play it, so it'll be all on you.
Yeah.
But, the rest of them, I'm like, Final Fantasy 16. No one's going to vote. It's going to be great, but people aren't going to vote for that.
Yeah.
Resi 4, again, solid, but no one's going to vote for that. It's going to be Zelda time. And it'll be Zelda time next year if they don't release it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to most anticipated game next year because it'll finally be the first year in what's probably been 5 years where Zelda and or Elden Ring have not been in it. And I can't
That's very true. It's Zelda and Elden Ring have been there since they were announced in 2019.
Like 4 years of this. 19, 20, 21, 22. 4 years of unannounced sequel to untitled sequel to Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild being in here. But yeah. Zelda's gonna win. And I can't wait for it to come out next November. Because it'll get delayed again.
Yeah.
Mark my words. And then it's just the esports categories, isn't it?
There's best esports game, but do any of us care? It's Counter-Strike, really. Dota 2, League of Legends, Rocket League, and Valorant. Does anyone have opinions of those games?
I voted for Rocket League because it's the only one I could tolerate, but I feel like...
I think League of Legends always wins that award. So
I feel like CSGO is going to win this year. And that is based solely because I was like, which one's the most dull? And there you go. That was my vote. Or Valorant.
Esports are boring.
I'll never get
so true.
It's like the reason I liked Overwatch, the reason I got into Overwatch, even though it's technically an esports game, was just because it was like, it was colourful. The character designs, the map design, like the way the game looked was visually appealing. When I look at Valorant, it's like, what if we made Overwatch? but it looked fucking shit. And I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, I'm in. I don't care if it has the greatest shooting of all time. But it's like, what if the abilities were all blocks, like green and red blocks? And what if it all looked shit? I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you, though. Appreciate you. Anyway, it's time.
And yeah, the rest of the categories are all esports. So now we circle back to the start. For
Right, I'll timestamp this one.
The year.
I'll timestamp just this one because I know some people just want to know what our opinions are of this incredible thing. If you've missed
this
the current,
is true.
If you've missed if you timestamp skip to fucking 1 hour and 49 minutes in here, first of all, why? My poor fucking watch time. How dare you?
First of all, fuck you.
First of all,
second,
God damn it. You better at least watch the rest of this at 0.5 speed to make up for all the watch time I've lost. And two, welcome on in. You I guess you're going to be blind. So there's 6 nominations for Game of the Year, which is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Supposedly.
We've got A Plague Tale: Requiem, The Elden Ring, God of War: Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
And first of all, I just want to say to all Xenoblade Chronicles fans that, for the love of fucking God, just be grateful that this got a nomination.
Yeah.
Because it's I'm talking,
you're never getting another one.
Very rare for a JRPG to get a Game of the Year nomination at the Game Awards. It is. It's like we could have like a very kind of elite class of video.
I think it's Persona and Final Fantasy are the only other two off the top of my head.
I genuinely am. I am in agreement with you. I believe. I was just gonna go and double check because I'm like, it's got to be really fucking low, hasn't it? But it's like, last year. Think about the great JRPGs we had last year. You had Tales of Arise. Didn't get a nomination.
No.
It didn't?
No, for
Game of the Year. No,
but Deathloop did. Gross. Remember that, kids. Remember that. Deathloop did.
Erica Lindbeck should have been nominated for Best Performance last year for her character in that game, too.
Do you guys remember? Who remembers Deathloop? Can I just say, Deathloop, biggest fucking hype propaganda I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I still want to say that. I don't care if you
instead of the Jeff Keighley World Tour, it took the PlayStation.
Just the PlayStation bullshit
Direct
tour.
World Tour.
Literally, looking
that shit.
Last year. So the only ones I can see is 2020, the Final Fantasy VII Remake got a nomination for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
We're not counting FromSoft games. FromSoft is in its own little league of its own. Because they're not particularly JRPG.
It tricks people into thinking they're Western.
Yeah. I guess we could count Monster Hunter World. That's another one that also got one. Again, more Western design, personally.
Fair.
But, I'd still count it. So, yeah. Oh, and then Zelda, obviously. But other than Persona 5, it's very rare for a JRPG to be nominated. The point I'm trying to make here is, Xenoblade fans, you've got absolutely fucking zero chance of this winning Game of the Year. But just understand how much of an achievement it is that this game even got nominated. That's already a win for Xenoblade. I'm sure that Nintendo, who are already pretty happy with the performance of Xenoblade in terms of sales numbers, are already looking at this as like a huge win for the future of Monolith and the potential for the franchise going forward. You've got your win. Now let's talk about how Elden Ring's going to win this, and it's not even going to be close, right?
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Elden Ring is winning Game of the Year.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Right, and here's the thing. Here's the thing with Elden Ring. Is it my favorite game of this year? No. Is it my favorite 2 games of this year? No. But it's a damn good video game. It's not unwarranted, is my kind of feeling of this video game. Is I didn't love Elden Ring as much as everybody else loved Elden Ring. But I'm not sitting there with Deathloop fucking confusion where I'm like, why are people liking this? Yeah, when I'm like, with Deathloop last year, I was like, you're blind, the AI shit, it's not fun. The fucking writing in Deathloop is so annoying, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so are the performances. I mean, Cal, you saw Sam play it for a couple of hours, and I'm like...
dude, it's got Guardians of the Galaxy writing.
It's worse than Guardians of the Galaxy writing. The Guardians of the Galaxy game had better writing than Deathloop. But the thing with Elden Ring is the gameplay is so solid, and the world, as much or as little as you like it, it's intriguing. Like, there's not something around every corner. And Jason Schreier, I'll never let that fucking quote go until the day either of us die, because I remember playing that game, and within the first fucking hour, I walked around a corner with the whole, there's something around every corner. What was around that corner, guys? Fuck all. There was nothing there. And I was like, you
Patches
liar.
again.
I was like, you liar. There was nothing here. Absolutely nothing. Just a cliff face.
I love that you always bring up that quote, but I think you took it way too literal.
Yeah, I did. I did take it way too literal.
Okay, as long as you're aware.
Yeah, oh no, I'm 100%
I mean, most
aware.
of what is around the corners from what I was playing was caves.
Yeah. And
with just a little bit of stuff in it.
That's what I'm trying to get at, was the hype and the review scene was like, it's like, we've had nothing like this ever before. And I'm like, actually, we've had two things very like this very before. Other Thrum games and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's a baby between the two of them. It's what if we took the open world concept of Breath of the Wild and made it a FromSoft game? Is it a revolutionary step? Yes and no. I feel like there's something here, but I also think there's something very, like, incredibly... There's something incredible about the original FromSoft kind of gameplay loop. I feel like some of it's lost. I feel like, yes, you can go everywhere, but I also think the kind of puzzle that is the world of a FromSoft game is lost, because you have those areas like the castle and the Ray Luna Academy and stuff like that. But they are just that. They're areas. And it's like, I feel like some of it's missed. It's an interesting game. I still think it deserves every praise that it gets. But it just doesn't click with me as much as it does with other people, which is funny because, after playing Bloodborne, I fucking love Bloodborne. Bloodborne is an incredible game.
Bloodborne's great.
Bloodborne is great.
I love Bloodborne.
We even converted him.
He's played it recently. We'll talk about that next week. But, it's a great game, and I feel like it deserves everything that it gets. And it's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else, and that's okay. It's not a death loop. And I won't be mad when it wins. But I feel like it also doesn't help that there are so many great games that came out this year that I also loved, and loved a bit more.
Yeah.
God of War is the only closest one, I think.
Yeah, it's the only one that has a chance of winning. If
there's an upset, it's God of War.
Yeah.
And the only realm I see this is what happened in 2018, which is everybody was almost certain that Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to win Game of the Year. And then in an upset, God of War won. And I think that's the only way it will happen, is if too many people from outlets said, when they went for their votes, everybody's going to nominate, everyone's going to put Elden Ring as their favourite. We'll put God of War, and then it upsets it. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think the FromSoft fan base is far too rabid for it.
It's very true.
And like I say, it's well deserved. It's not going to be a fucking thing here where I'm praying for Deathloop to not win. Like, I feel like it deserves its win. And everything else here is solid. I think the reason it wins is Xenoblade is great, but a very niche game. I say niche, it sold over 2 million copies, but niche enough in its category. It's not a Pokemon 10 million seller in 3 days. Plague Tale Requiem and Horizon Forbidden West are brilliant video games, but they are essentially like very heavy sequels, where it's like more of the same. God of War.
Plague Tale's another one where the victory is more of like in being nominated than anything else, especially in a year like this.
100%.
Like, it's weird that it was only nominated for narrative in 2019.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes, this is what always happens. You have years that are super competitive like this year. And then you'll have years like last year where you're looking and you're kind of going, well, how did half of these fuckers... If any other game showed up, you'd all be gone. Like, Like, I love Ratchet and Clank, but also I feel like if 3 of these games that came out this year came out last year, that Deathloop and Ratchet and Clank would have both been fucking out of there and been replaced with these. It's just like... The quality's different. God of War Ragnarok, again, is a sequel, but I think it's 100% the story that will carry that through. The story and just the performances that will carry that fucker through to the end if it does win.
For sure.
And Stray is about cats, so it's almost got an automatic...
Stray is a 5-hour cat game.
Yeah. And it's an interesting one. Do you guys have anything additional to say about it?
Nah, not especially. Pretty much covered everything here.
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it all.
Cool. Well, there you go.
Xenoblade fans take the W. That you were there.
I'll
You
take
were
the
acknowledged
W.
by
And
Jeff.
remember, you're getting a DLC next year, which will probably be another game in of itself. So you'll have fun.
Yeah.
And there you go. And then you can laugh when Scarlet and Violet also get a DLC this year, and you can compare the quality of that to the Pokemon DLC like you have been doing this year with
Again.
the base games. The world is a circle, remember that, guys. And who knows?
It's the new Pokemon cycle.
Yeah,
New game comes out, gets compared to Xenoblade.
Very true. Right, before we wrap up, we always like to do a couple of kind of cheeky nominations. Like, well, nominations, predictions. For what we think might happen in Jeff Keighley's bullshit world premiere extravaganza. Hunter, do you have anything that you want to get off your chest? Anything that you believe might happen?
All right, so first things first. Ad time this time, I believe, will
Okay.
be 26 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay.
And if you add in the pre-show, like 31:45.
Okay, cool. I want to add another one just for fun and games, right? How many categories are there? There's like 30 odd. There's 30 odd. 31 categories. I want to place bets. Okay, 2 bets on this one. Number 1, how many of these categories will be in the pre-show? And number 2, how many of them will be just thrown out randomly during the main show? So the first one is just how many flat out show up in the pre-show. The other one is just how many of them are just like, you know, in the bottom, or you hear a narrator say, "Best fighting game goes to Sifu." You know, so how many do you think? Because I think pre-show.
How many
I feel
esports categories are there?
Like 6.
Okay, 6
5.
plus the music category, so 7 for the pre-show.
Okay,
I
I'm
was
gonna
gonna
go
say
with
8.
9. Okay, there you go, 7, 8, and 9. And then how many do you think will be spurted off randomly? I'm gonna say 9. That leave for me. If 9 leaves me with 22, I think that at least 8. I'm gonna go with 8.
Yeah, I'll go with 8 as well. That sounds correct.
I'll go with 6.
Okay, there you go. They're out in the ether. So there's our bullshit Jeff Clark moment. I think it's going to be 28 minutes of ads just to fuck with you. So it's like
Yeah.
I'll go 27 just to meet in the middle.
Okay. There you go.
Price is right rules.
Cal's basically fucked, and if it's higher than I win, epic. Lovely.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, do you have any actual predictions for games?
So it's funny because I think there will be some form of Dragon Age trailer. I don't know, because he likes his stupid adaptation trailers here too. They might have a trailer for the Dragon Age Netflix show that's going to be coming out like the day after the awards. Or you could actually get a Dragon Age 4 trailer. I think that'd be cool. I'd be pleased if they had one of those to show.
That's a good shout. In terms of media, I was going to make a shout. I feel like we're going to get a trailer for the Last of Us TV show. I think that's going to be Sony's contribution.
That'll probably be there as well.
I don't think we're going to see any, like... I also want to say this, right?
Yeah, that show's out in January. So
I feel like every year we say that Nintendo's going to announce something big, and then they don't fucking show up. They only show up with ads for the Nintendo. They have the Nintendo Switch has games, and then they show like Mario Kart 8 again, and that's it.
They might have potentially another Zelda teaser for us.
No, I think, and I'm writing this down on the line, 0 Nintendo stuff. You'll have Nintendo Switch has games bullshit fucking adverts in the advert time. No new games. Nothing. Nada nilch. Because I've said Zelda for fucking 3 years in a row, and I'm not saying it again. Nothing is going to be shown.
I'll say it for you just so I can rub it in your face later.
Okay, go for it.
New Tears of the Kingdom trailer.
There'll be a spring direct, and it won't be there either. You'll hear it here first.
That'll be funny.
It'll say delayed to 2024.
Oof.
I can't wait.
Man, it's hard because Jeff's stupid trailers are always all over the place, man.
Okay,
it's like
true.
I predict at least 5 that none of us care about, and we are perplexed as to who would care about.
Yeah, a lot of Jeff's trailers that show up in these things are like, who asked for this,
shit?
Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Who was asking for vampires with guns?
Hideo Kojima's new game will show up.
Oh yeah.
You know this thing he's been teasing with. What's in it? Is it Elle Fanning with like
Where am
I? Who am I? That bollocks. That'll show up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I also have a feeling that that's not the Microsoft game. I don't know why. I feel like that might be Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, I could see it in just the way that the promotional pictures look. It looks like it could be a Death Stranding.
My teaser would 100% be slight spoilers for Death Stranding if you haven't had time to beat the 100-hour post game in the past 3 years. I feel like there's a very high potential that Elle Fanning is playing Lou.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's my prediction. And then we'll have old shirtless Norman Reedus, and that'll be epic. Hope he drinks Monster Energy again. Yeah, but I feel like that's the PlayStation game because I feel like the Xbox game is
Senua again.
I feel like it's further away. And also, we've heard that's a horror game with whoever the performer who played Mama in Death Stranding.
Yeah, I can never remember.
Overdose is the code name, I believe.
Yeah, Overdose is what it's called. I feel like that is.
But no, I feel like that's not the Elle Fanning game because I feel like they would have made it more apparent by now if it was the Xbox game, if that makes sense. I feel like Xbox's branding would have been on it.
I feel like if there was something to show for it, they would have done it back in the summer.
Whereas you assume that whatever Kojima's next thing with Sony was probably has been in development since 2019. So or early 2020. So yeah, that would be one of mine. I'm trying to think. Crash Bandicoot will show up. We know this because the Crash Twitter did a Fortnite dab or something when someone mentioned it. Because if I remember correctly, someone when the Crash 4 for Steam thing got announced, it said on like the barcode or the thing on the pizza, it had the date for the Game Awards on it. And then when someone went, "That's the Game Awards date," Crash Bandicoot did like a crazy face emoji or something. That was it. So whatever.
I hope it's just Crash Suit Guy heckling Jeff, and there's no.
That's what I'm saying. I will predict
for all 3 hours of the award show.
I 100% predict if Crash Bandicoot is here, the Crash Bandicoot Suit Guy will also be there because of course he fucking will.
Yeah,
that's his job. He shows up once a year.
That's his job,
and it'll probably be Wumpa League. I doubt that it'll be anything else. But you know, like what fucking Wumpa Leagues like this, like
Twin Sanity remake.
Oh, I'd be down.
I would give anything for just a new Crash game. My honest to god dream, I know it's Wumpa League, but my honest to god dream was that they just went Crash Bandicoot multiplayer game sounds shit. Let's just make a new CTR, and then I would be like, hell yeah, I'd be 100% down for a new CTR. But that's not going to happen. We're going to get some other fucking weird thing. Which, hey, as long as Crash stays alive, I'm fine with that. Let's just hope it's good. Who knows? I don't know. Like I say, I feel like we have like Sony has got nothing to show really other than Kojima if they have got a Kojima thing. Because I feel like they're not going to show Spider-Man yet.
Probably not.
And it's like, are they gonna go balls out like, hey, we're showing the Last of Us HBO trailer. Here's a tease of what Naughty Dog's working on next. I feel like they wouldn't, but they could. I
don't think they would.
They showed The Last of Us Part 1 at Summer Game Mass, so they could. I don't know.
Is Forspoken still supposed to come out in January? I feel like that might show up if it is.
Probably. Final Fantasy 16 might show up as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that showed up.
Yeah.
I made a joke a few minutes ago, but I wouldn't be shocked if Senua's Saga showed up again. Because it seems like this is where they like to show that off.
Here's my... I've got a prediction as well. I have a feeling that the Atlas logo is going to show up, and then they're going to show the Persona 4 Golden and FES things and just be like, it's coming to Thingy again. And everyone's like, fucking hell, we've done this like 6 times.
Go away, Atlas.
Go away. And my only hope will be we'll be all sitting there waiting for the Persona 3 stuff to come and go, does it look better? Does it look better? No, still shit. Epic. Thank you.
No, it's still a portable game on a
It's still,
console.
yeah, no,
Hell
it's still,
yeah.
yeah, it still looks like they AI upscaled them instead of actually redrawing the assets. Awesome, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm just trying to think, because like I say, the easy picks is like, you know, Sony's got no games coming out, like nothing. They've got nothing.
Yeah, we did a whole episode about that.
We did
a few weeks ago.
Sony's got nothing. Microsoft may show Starfield and give it a date. That's actually a good shout because that's supposed to be spring. Starfield might show.
Oh, right.
Unless it gets delayed again, which I wouldn't be surprised. But it's like, yeah, Starfield maybe.
Maybe a Dead Space trailer. Not supposed to be out in January.
Yeah, that's a shout. Is there any other games that are coming out? What game releases are set for 2023 so far? I'm just trying to think. Or at least set for spring.
Nintendo won't announce any games, but they will tell us what the next Splatfest is going to be.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, man. Or Mario Kart Booster Pass. Yeah.
What do you think Game of the Year should have been? God of War, Elden Ring, or Stray?
It'd be hilarious for them to put, especially since their own game is in the vote.
That's one that I wouldn't be surprised of because I think it showed up. Wolf Among Us 2.
Oh.
Because they showed that at the Game Awards. I played the Wolf Among Us this year. It's a very good Telltale game. It's probably one of their best.
Yeah.
So I would hope that Fire Emblem Engage, that might be if Nintendo
oh yeah,
shows
that's supposed to come out early next year.
That's out January, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Space is pretty. Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, that stupid Harry Potter game will probably get a trailer.
Like a Dragon Ishin might get a trailer as well. I'm just trying to think. There's so much.
There's a Horizon VR game coming out too. Call of the Mountain.
PSVR might. I feel like PSVR will have a couple of ad spots in the ad time, if that makes sense. Where they'll be like PSVR 2 has game, and then they show for Horizon
has game,
and that's it.
And they show Beat Saber
again. Maybe Resident Evil 4 gets a trailer. Like I feel like most of the time when we make these predictions, we're like. We think about all these unannounced games. And the thing about 2023 is, which I think is a really interesting thing, is we have big games like Starfield and Zelda, which we know are coming out.
Yeah.
But other than like stuff that's like Spider-Man, which maybe comes out, we don't have anything really locked for second half of next year that's like huge or big. I feel like...
No, it's all very front-loaded next year.
It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like if there are more announcements, I feel like there will be announcements at the Game Awards. I think the announcements will be better than last year because they can't be fucking worse. But I feel like it's going to be unannounced stuff. That's my guess. I also think if they don't show a teaser for 16, there may be a very slight chance. I think it's less of a chance because I feel like they want to push 16 more. That they show a very small teaser for Rebirth as well. Because you know what Square's like. Square loves fucking showing stuff before it's ready. Yeah. It would not shock me if they did a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer before, like a full-on trailer before 16's even out. Like, that would not shock me in the slightest.
For that matter, I wouldn't be too shocked to see them throw in a last-minute Crisis Core trailer.
Yeah, true. That's also true. I forgot that's coming out.
Yeah.
That's definitely a game that I will not pick up on day one, but I will one day. But yeah.
After the remake saga is over, or after I tell you to look up a cutscene at the end.
No, that's the thing with it is, I'm waiting. You'll have to tell me if it's worth me playing. Because if you're like, okay, it actually does tie into remake, I'll pick it up and play it. But if it doesn't, then fuck it. I'll live.
Yeah.
Or I'll wait till it's a bit cheaper. But yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be like new stuff. I feel like there'll be like new announcements there that some more people won't care about because it'll be Warhammer. Or, like I say, there is a small chance. Maybe we see one of the smaller Sony games. Maybe we see what Ben's working on, or what Pixel Opus is working on, or something that's like not necessarily a huge get. Microsoft might show Fable or something else, you know, like one of those. Fable. There's so much, yeah. Maybe like you said, Dragon Age. I feel like Dragon Age is probably going to get a trailer before Mass Effect. Mass Effect is
I sure hope so.
Away.
Dragon Age has been in development forever.
Dragon Age is supposed to come out next year, isn't it? Or by 2024 at least. So at the most. So
yeah, I don't know.
It's a hard year. Kyle, what would you want to see as a JRPG nerd that plays 2 games a year? What would you like to see an announcement for that isn't going to happen?
Like to see an announcement for?
Yeah.
Like new shit?
Yeah, just throw
Dude,
it
manifest throw it into existence like I do.
I mean, I said this last week or a few weeks ago. I really love Legend of Dragoon to come back. It's not going to happen because Sony's not cool. It's not one of the 3 things that can make them money. So it's never going to happen.
That's the thing that sucks about Sony at the moment, is they are just 100% like locked and loaded on fucking third-person action game bullshit. And I'm like, come on, can we have something else?
And they've got the stupid multiplayer stuff waiting in the wings.
That's a shout. That's a shout.
Last of Us Factions?
Yes. No, because I think they said that Last of Us Factions... I think they said they won't show Last of Us Factions until next year. So I think it'll 100% be either... What is it, Jen Raymond? Is that a name?
Jade Raymond.
Jade Raymond. Haven. Whatever Haven's working on might get shown. Or that other game by what's their fucking company called? Deviation. One of their 2 multiplayer projects. I would not be shocked if they show something for either of them. Because that's easy, like, oh, we've got to give Jeff something. Oh, fuck it. Give him the Deviation or the Haven thing. just give him that.
I can't wait for me to go, ooh, PlayStation. And then as soon as I see one of the multiplayer studios names pop up, be like, oh, PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. Or like Twisted Metal or something. I know that's...
I wouldn't be upset with Twisted Metal showing up.
I also think, if we're talking about... Because we talk about Jade Raymond... Ubisoft, that Assassin's Creed Mirage game, it doesn't have a date on it, even though the box art and the pre-orders have gone live. So I feel like that's a given at some point. I feel like Game Awards is a good place to just chuck a date out for March or whenever it is. Because it's obviously going to be first half of next year if they're already taking pre-orders. So... And you know Ubisoft loves just chucking shit. Skull and Bones, just do that as well. Just let us laugh at that one more time before that fucking goes to bed.
3 for 1, chuck in your stupid blue person Avatar game.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, God, fucking Avatar. Avatar is the death loop of movies to me, where I don't understand the people that like Avatar. I got bored as fuck from that movie, man.
Dude, I don't get it either. There are so many movies that do that story better, like The Last Samurai, and, you know, good for you. You had cutting-edge CG at the time. Congrats.
You underpaid people to make that movie.
Everyone has to specify that they mean James Cameron's Avatar when they talk about it. Because everyone just associates it with The Last Airbender.
And then there's 2 categories. There's one person that's like, oh yeah, I watched Avatar when it came in cinemas in 3D in 2008. And then the second category are people who are disappointed that they weren't talking about The Last Airbender. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But now, like I say, it's hard to predict this time because there's so many unannounced games. Like, usually you can always chuck it. Like, and I don't trust Nintendo anymore. Nintendo do fuck all. Like, we're looking right now and we're like, maybe Advanced Wars. Maybe that's where they finally just chuck it out to die.
Oh, man.
Can that game finally be released? Can we let it out of jail?
Mid-December, baby. Let's go.
It'd be really funny one day. I think it'd be really funny one day.
It'd be funny if it just shadow dropped one day.
Yeah, when Nintendo Direct and they're like, Advance Wars Reboot Camp is out now on Nintendo Switch, and they just cancel the physical. They just like send it to die.
Oh.
Dude, Ethan, do you want to pick up Advance Wars for the draft next year?
No.
Just so I can't have it.
Haven't we passed the parcel on that?
It's traded
hands. Yeah, we've passed it, right?
Yeah.
I might actually, just for the shits and giggles. If we have been passing it,
we should.
I'll do it for the bit. Why not?
Yeah.
But no. It's like, say it's weird.
It's okay. I'll take River City Girls for the Way Forward relay next year.
Oh god, I have to find another Way Forward game to pick up.
Oh no, I was gonna say if that means we're swapping games, does that mean that seems like an unfair trade? Because that means I get Advanced Wars. If Hunter gets River City Girls, that means that you then get like Hollow Knight. How's that fair? Like if Hollow Knight.
Well, the joke here is that Advanced Wars was also being done by Way Forward.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we're all trading, Cal's got to get something from me. If I'm getting something from, if we're getting something from each other, that's how it's got to work.
Yeah.
And I doubt he wants fucking Starfield.
Yeah, what are you giving me?
That's why I say the only indie game that I'd have that didn't get released this year that you'd have to take is Hollow Knight, which I don't think is fair because that's an instant 90 as soon as that comes out. So how's that fair?
Sounds good to me.
I guess the question. I guess it's fair because who knows if it'll come out.
True.
It's fair because I got last this year.
True. Yeah, you can have it.
Give the dude who got last some help.
You can have it. But no, if you guys have any predictions, like I say, it'll be a week and a half until this comes out because it's going up nice and early. So you can let us know. You can let us know in the comments what you think. What do you think will be announced? Do you think Jeff Keighley will show up? Yes or no? Do you think Last of Us Factions will show up? Yes or no? Do you think that, I don't know,
we'll be bored shitless for 3.5 hours?
Yes
or no?
Very probably.
Yes or yes.
I guess the final prediction is, guys, I'm not going to say will we regret it, because I know the answer will be yes, because every year we finish watching the Game Awards together, and I go, fucking hell, I have to go to work in 3 hours, this wasn't worth it, and go to sleep. So my question to you guys is, do you think it'll be better than last year?
Yes, it can't be worse than last year.
I sure hope.
Surely not.
I agree, because at least at the end of it, we get a sweet we get a sweet little orchestral kind of
medley
of Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Xenoblade, and whatever the fuck Stray's soundtrack
cat game.
Yeah, what the fuck Stray is.
Just a bunch of cat meows.
That's the thing is, you're gonna have this epic moment with the kind of with the God of War chanting, or the Elden Ring like bombastic theme, or the Xenoblade flutes are gonna kick in at some point, and you're gonna be like, oh man. Then you're just gonna know that the Stray part of it is just gonna be the bit where you go, what the fuck is this? Which one's this? Like that's gonna be the Stray part. Where you're like, what? It was
like in 2020, I think Animal Crossing transitioned into Hades, and it was really funny.
I need to watch that one back. That'll be great.
It either transitioned into Hades or Doom. It was really funny.
That's a great prediction. I want you to predict right now, Hunter, what order are these games going to go in terms of medley?
Oh, okay.
Which way do you think that they'll put them in?
What are we working with?
Honestly,
God of War, Elden Ring, Horizon, Plague Tale, Stray,
and Xenoblade.
Okay. I think probably Elden Ring to start.
Mm-hmm.
Then Xenoblade,
Ooh, okay.
Horizon, Stray, Plague Tale, God of War.
Interesting. Kyle, do you want to give it a attempt?
I think that it should open with Xenoblade.
I feel like starting with the flutes would make sense, but then I also feel like
just start quiet and then bring in the rest of the main theme and then do whatever you want.
I feel like if they don't include the flutes, people will be mad. So it's like they need to fit the flutes in somewhere. And it's like, I don't know. I'm going to go... You see, I think Xenoblade will start. But I'm going to go with... I also think they start with Elden Ring. I think they're going to start with Elden Ring. I think they'll go Elden Ring into Plague Tale, into Stray, which goes into Horizon, then God of War, and then Xenoblade at the end. I'm going to go with the opposite, where they end with the flutes. Because I don't know how you fit flutes in the middle of it and then move it into somewhere else. So I'm thinking start or end. Or, I also want to say, I would not also be surprised if they just do them in alphabetical order. I would not be shocked in the slightest if they started with Plague Tale and ended with Xenoblade. It'll be interesting to see.
I've never paid attention to how they do it in the past.
It just seems kind of random to me. I don't know. I haven't really been too clued into it, to be honest with you.
Well, there you go. There are some of our predictions.
Music theorists can explain to us in the comments.
It's probably whatever they feel like makes the best. What order makes the best composition? To be honest,
and I hope that's 100. I hope that's what they do. I really hope they don't go. We've got to do it in arbitrary popularity order, or we've got to do it. In alphabetical. I really hope they don't.
Dartboard order.
No, that would be funny. To be fair, the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's why I put Horizon and Stray next to each other. I feel like Horizon's electronic-y sound. Whatever noise Stray made feels like it was more of a cybery sound. So probably transitions in or out of Horizon really well.
I think
the only noise I remember Stray making was the cat meow.
I will guarantee you this much. that Elden Ring and God of War will probably be right next to each other because their soundtracks are so fucking similar in terms of instruments. Would not be shocked if they're both right next to each other. So yeah, who knows? It'd be funny if one of us got that right.
Oh, it would be great.
But anyway,
this is going to be a fun one to put in for the following years, along with the ad time predictions.
Do you know what? Let's not tell him about this. I wanted one final prediction. Will Jack actually show up? Because Jack said that he'll show up. Final prediction: will he show up
to watch it or the
will
podcast
he show up to watch
afterwards?
it? And we'll do both. Will he show up to watch it?
Man.
And because he said he'll watch it and he wants to do the pod. So, will he show up? Well, what will he do, guys? Place your bets. Will he show up?
Yes.
Say no.
Yes, and then no.
Okay, what are you saying, Carl? No and no?
No and no. Because if he
Well, he's
doesn't show up for
definitely-
the
well, yeah.
awards, we're not
All I'm
going to
saying
let
is-
him on the episode.
No, that's what I'm saying is he definitely won't show up. He won't show up to the podcast if he hasn't seen the show. So it's either yes and no or yes and yes. I'm gonna go with yes and no because I think Jack thinks that we're gonna record the podcast right after the Game Awards, and he thinks I'm fucking doing that at 4 a.m. He's got another thing. So I'm gonna go with he'll show up and watch it with us, and then we'll say we'll record it the next day or whatever, and he won't show up. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's fair.
That's our inside.
I also
baseball.
know Jack is forgetful, and he just won't even know when the show is.
Oh, he's already.
I feel like he's watched it with us the past couple of years.
He watched 2020.
He watched in
with us.
2019.
He watched the Churches one, which was 2019.
Yeah, it was 2019. And their bad audio balance.
Oh, that was
Classic
bad audio.
Jeff.
Balance. Please, Jeff, please. Will Jeff fix his audio balance? Yes or no? I'm going with no on that one.
Oh, here's one I want to manifest.
Okay,
I want Viola's theme from Bayonetta 3 to be one of the live performances because I really like the singer. She's in a band I like.
Oh.
If of all the times to manifest my powers of bringing things into existence, I would love for the Yours Truly singer to be on the Game Awards stage.
Has he announced any of the performing artists yet?
I don't think so.
Right, here's my prediction. Fucking Ed Sheeran and the Celestial song from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I know, like, he always loves to get a pop person in there. He always loves getting a pop person in there. So I'm like, I would not be surprised if they were like, we need, like, Pokemon's like got him on, like, you've got to do it. It's in your contract. You've got to go fucking do the Game Awards. Which, to be fair, I don't hate that song. To be honest, it's all right. I don't hate it. I'll admit it. I don't hate Ed Sheeran. Please don't. I'm sorry, internet. I know that's against popular belief, but you know.
I mean, he's like, back when I was forced to listen to music I didn't care about when I had a job that played it over the radio and just kept it on the channel that rotates the same 7 songs. I'm pretty sure that he was just the archetypal who I assume male pop singers are, even if they're not. I just think they all sound like him.
He's just acoustic. Yeah, he's just acoustic pop singer.
Yeah.
Basically. Which I'll admit, I was like, I think Celestial's alright. I thought it was alright. I finished the game and it started playing, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. I didn't go, oh god, pop song like I do with most games that end in a pop song. I was like, it kind of fits. But it's also
at least
very
with
weird.
Pokemon, it makes sense to end with like a pop song. I think.
Yeah,
it is like the most popular media franchise
done it before.
in existence.
Yeah, because I know they got Katy Perry to do a song for like the anniversary, but that wasn't for a game.
And Post Malone.
This one was. And Ed Sheeran's song is way better than the Katy Perry song. I will give them that.
Dude, that's not a hard bar to clear.
I also think it's because Katy Perry obviously got handed a song from Pokemon or whoever wrote it to sing, whereas Ed Sheeran's a fan of Pokemon, so he wrote the song himself. Which I think makes a difference. You know, it's like how Kojima was a fan of Churches, so when he asked them to make a song for it, he was like, just make a Churches song, don't do something stupid. Which I always respect. Anyway, this episode has gone on long enough. I have to fucking render this bitch. Like, oh no. Hey. But no, let us know what your guys' prediction is and all that jazz in the comments. And I hope you've enjoyed this extended episode. Hope you watched it all. Good watch time, remember, guys.
We'll know.
Outro, I know what you did. Go back. Go back. It's fine if you skipped around. Just leave it. Just go to bed with it on. On loop.
That's what I do.
On loop.
That's what Hunter does. Anyway, as always, I'll link on screen right now. The correct links this week. You can go follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with everything we do on the podcast. Like I say, next week we've got Callisto Protocol coming out, which is good.
We sure do.
And then after that, we've got reviewing Jeff's Mess, and then it's almost Christmas. Can you believe it? It's nearly the end of the year. Another year of doing this.
Boy.
Crazy. But hey, if you don't want to follow us on our own socials, you can go and always follow us on Twitter at Hot Gamers Only while it's still there, or go to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only to watch the video version of the podcast. And hey, if you don't want to look at our stupid faces, that's cool. You can head to the link tree or search for Hot Gamers Only on your favorite podcast services like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We do have a community feed on the YouTube as well, so if you are subscribed, I might start using that a bit. I don't know. I feel like because Twitter's dying, I feel like I should just start shit posting on the HGO account. Just like start throwing random shit at the wall. You know, see what it's like. Is Thanksgiving overrated? You know, why not?
Yeah.
Just start throwing shit. If Twitter's gonna kill it. If Elon's gonna kill it, we might as well fucking burn.
The three of us are also on Hive as well.
Oh yeah,
We
I
all
haven't
made
tweeted
accounts
about that.
there.
We have made. No one's using them, but we have.
I only made mine to be Kyle's first follower, and then someone beat me to it.
Yeah, you got beat by a bot.
Oh, okay, that
It doesn't count.
My favorite thing about that was I followed a load of people on Twitter, and one of the people that I followed me back, but they don't follow me back on Twitter, so they follow me on Hive, but they don't follow me on Twitter.
Funny.
I was like, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. But we do have Hive accounts. We're not using them, but they are Hive is so far the closest thing that exists to a new Twitter if Twitter dies. So we made them just so that we had the usernames. So we're all on there, and as far as I'm aware, we all have the exact same usernames as we do on Twitter. So it's really easy to go and follow us everywhere. And if not, like I say, the YouTube community tab, we'll start posting stuff. I might start doing a weekly thing where we go, hey, here's what the podcast is going on, and if there's anything else happening this week, we'll let you know. We'll start doing stuff like that as Twitter self-implodes. I just saw latest news, apparently, of how we're going to have multicolored fucking check marks now, apparently, according to the world of Elon Musk. So
Cool.
Brands will have gold. It's something like brands will have gold, fucking politicians will have grey, and celebrities.
And if they make it,
to
go for everybody.
Yeah. What was it? I want to know.
For a month.
And then colorblind people just fucking take the L, I guess. Like, unlucky, you're just gonna see verified people anyway. Like that's very silly.
Change the shape. That'd be funny. One gets a check mark, one gets an X, one gets a triangle.
Sorry, the difference is company will be red, government will be oh no, that's not it. Oh fuck it. Gold is companies, grey is government, blue is individuals, celebrity or not. So you're still gonna have a problem unless they're companies or the government. You're still gonna have an issue. I love Twitter. It's great.
With impersonation, epic.
Nah, you can't impersonate me. I'm iconic, bro. You can't.
Bad.
Yeah, you can't impersonate me. My tweets are just too good. Who else will tweet about the podcast every week and nothing else? Because I don't have time for Twitter.
Yeah, Kyle. You think someone could come up with the same kind of unhinged thoughts I just spit into the world?
Yeah, you are the definition of someone that should just keep.
I will say I've never met anyone quite like you, Hunter.
Anyway, that's it for the podcast this week. It's been an extra special long one this week, so we'll just have to make next week's 2 minutes, I guess, just to equate for the
Callisto Protocol review, and that's it.
Just make it a YouTube short.
Oh, man.
But no, thank you ever so much. If you made it this far for listening this week, we do appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with us as you do each and every week. We'll be back same time, same place next week for Callisto Protocol impressions. Cal's play Bloodborne. We'll talk about that too. I finished God of War, and I'm playing Persona again, so I've probably got nothing to contribute, but it'll be fun nonetheless. So join us for that next week. But until then, have an awesome week, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.